Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Grab Matters podcast. Today we welcome on a very special guest, Massi Piffaretti. Massi Piffaretti is a professional wakeboarder from Italy. He grew up on Lake Como, one of the most beautiful places you can possibly ride in the world. We talk about what it's like growing up there, the wakeboarding and snowboarding scene that he was super into growing up. We also talk about some of his injuries that he's had, especially one that he had while filming for Citrus. We talk about Citrus, the wakeboard movie. Also a couple other edits like Caro, Italia, Unlocking the Netherlands, what it's like to win Rider of the Year in 2019, where he sees the sport going, what he really thinks could benefit wakeboarding right now, and a bunch of other stuff with Massi. Really great chat with him. Hope you guys enjoy.
I approve waterboarding.
They're talking about wakeboarding.
The thing about wakeboarding, every trick is an invert.
Backside.
Air railies.
A new dimension.
All right, we're back. Another episode of the Grab Matters podcast. Today we welcome on a very special guest, Massi Piffaretti. How's it going, Massi?
What's up, guys? Feeling amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, last couple days in Orlando before I go home for the holidays. So just get to chill, relax. Season's over. Go out, have a couple of drinks, hang out with a fam.
It's a good time of year.
Yeah.
It's a great time of year, dude. Holidays is the best time of year, I think. First question, wake pants, yes or no?
I'm going to have to say absolutely yes on the cable if you're wearing a full suit, you know. Obviously, if it's super hot, I'm still prefer to ride in board shorts. But probably not on the boat, eh?
No?
Not on the boat.
A little too much work?
A little too much work, yeah.
And I feel like on the boat, you can rock the full suit. I mean, you don't really need a vest if you got full suit. So it's like, I don't know. Probably.
It's just like, I feel like if you're riding boat with a full suit and on top of that, you're trying to cover it up with the pants, it's just going to be pretty heavy.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to move very good. I do wear my board shorts sometimes over my short wetsuit. So it looks like so it looks like I only got like a top. So
that's a good move. I like that move because it's like I don't know who I was talking about wakeboarding with, but they were like wakeboarding is like a summer sport, so you want to make it look warm and like inviting. So you can throw the pants on or the shorts on. It's a little
for sure. But if you're in Germany and it's like October and you're like riding in a full suit, and I mean I just feel like you just put on some pants, a nice little jacket, and then
or something.
Obviously, try not to fall.
Definitely try not to fall. But I mean, look good, feel good, ride good. So you got to look good. That's 100%. Where the wake pants come in. Favorite grab?
Favorite grab? I've been loving the truck driver lately. I've been messing around with some roll to blinds or some tantrum to blind, the double grab, going roast beef mute.
Yeah. So that's a tricky one on a wakeboard, dude. Not a lot of guys throwing the truck driver on a wakeboard.
I think it's kind of cool. You know what I mean? I always look for fun, little cool ways to do tricks a little bit different. Yeah, I think I'm having a good time when you take off with the roll the blind and you get both of the grabs and then you like pull out.
Well, you got to get the elbow through the handle. It's a little tricky, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a little tricky, but I usually keep the handle not even in my elbow, like right here. So then whenever I'm ready to like release the grab, I just slides. Do this and it just slides perfect.
I didn't know that. Little trick of the trade, inside information there. I like that. I'm going to jump into an early Patreon question. So if you guys want to join that Patreon, make sure you do that. You can see who the guests are early. You could have seen that Massi was coming on. Could have asked him a question. I think we actually had the most amount of Patreon questions I've ever had with you. So people were fired up to see Massi come on the pod.
Hey, I'm hyped. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys.
So we got one from Garrett Cortez. I'm sure you know, photographer. He's wondering when the last time that you played beer pong with wine was.
Last time that I played beer pong with wine. Well, the last time that I can remember, basically with Red Bull, we started doing like a little project, my very first little project that we did. And Alliance teamed up with us and they brought their whole team out to Italy. And it was supposed to be a really cool road trip from north to the bottom of Italy. But the weather wasn't great. So I remember we started going down south earlier because it was better weather at that time. So we went to my friend's wakeboard school in Rome, CNVS, and basically he has this super, super nice, like huge dock, 5 boats, wakeboard school, like in the middle of nowhere, like an hour outside of Rome. So I called my buddy. I was like, hey, I know there's a couple bridges. I know there's a dam that we could war ride, and we can also get some boat riding done. Can we come there and shoot some photos and start, like, you know, getting some content? Because, like, you know, we're trying to do this whole video. We're trying to do this whole, like, you know, photo shoot that's going to go on the mag, and we need content, and we need a place where it's sunny. So we fire up, we go there, and it was pretty awesome. Like, we like went around, like, kind of saw a couple things that we could do. There was, like, this huge, like, bridge, like the fundamental, this, like, bridge, and it was a square, so we could have put the kicker right there, and I was just gapping through the square.
Yeah.
And Garrett was actually on the frame of the.
Okay, he was the one shooting.
Yeah,
okay.
he was shooting it. So, like, it was really cool. It almost looked like a closeout. So, like, when I was doing the trick coming through, like, I was smacking in the middle of
Sick.
the, like, you know, of the pylons of the bridge. So it was really cool. So we sauced up a few things, and then the day before getting everything done, we go to dinner, and my buddy has this super awesome restaurant where everything is made from home, and, like, everything made out of scratch. Like, it's so good, right? So we go and have dinner. It's me, Grubby, the Red Bull team manager, you know, like Corey, Garrett, everybody. We have a humongous table, and my buddy's got this, like, spine, like almost like a beer, like, spine or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's wine in it. So we started, like, playing, like, flip cup, beer pong, and whatever, and we drank, like, 30 carafes of wine that night. And I'm pretty sure that, like, the film crew from Red Bull was like, yeah, the weather's not looking good. After we, like, finished playing, like, beer pong, everybody's
feeling good.
pretty sauced up. The film crew comes up to me and was like, hey, the weather's not looking good, so we're leaving tomorrow. And I was like, what? I've been trying to do a Red Bull project for so long. We're doing, like, this super sick road trip with Grub, and you guys are going to leave? I was like, all right. And, you know, them leaving, they missed out really bad. Next day, after, like, a 30 carafe wine pong, like, we go out, we get sick boat stuff. Like, I do this pretty dope war ride on this dam that turned out to be a cover for Alliance. And
Okay.
And then we did that kicker through the bridge. That was pretty cool. And then from there on, like, we went to Lake Como, and then we did a full trip. Like, we went to Florence. Grub got to do, like, a winch pass, like, in this super famous river, like, right in the city of Florence and stuff like that. So it was really cool. So, yeah, I can't recall another time that I played wine pong like that. It's been a minute, but it was definitely one that it's hard to top.
Was it red wine or white wine?
We had a little bit of both.
Okay. Oh, you're mixing.
Yeah, we had a little bit of both. Whoever was drinking red could drink red, and whoever was drinking wine could drink white wine. Could drink white wine.
One of those work hard, play hard trips.
Exactly.
Sounds like get the shots, get the clips.
Exactly.
Still having a good time. All right. I mean, you were talking about Italy, so I think it's a good time to talk about just early days of Massi Piffaretti. Where are you from?
I'm from Sala Comacina. It's a super small little village on Lake Como. Counts about 500 people that live in the town in the winter, and about 1,000 people in the summer.
Okay.
So yeah, little small place on Lake Como, and yeah, that's where I grew up. That's where I was born. My whole family still lives there. They're still there, and I love it, man. Every time I go home, it's just fantastic. Being able to see the fam, being able to eat good, and yeah, I wish so bad that my family could be in America with me half of the year, you know?
Yeah.
But obviously they got work to do. They got things going on, and
okay, so Lake Como is one of the most beautiful places. I've never actually been in person, but, like, it's one of those most beautiful places in the world. I feel like a lot of people have heard about it. I didn't know before this that wakeboarding was, like, really a thing on that lake at all. So what was, like, the wakeboard, I don't want to say culture, but, like, how'd you get into wakeboarding on Lake Como? Is that where you got started?
all right. Well, so my uncles were pretty innovative. Like as soon as, like, the snowboard came out, like, they were straight away, like, jumping on a snowboard, getting one. They were, like, the first people, like, in our area to have one, and they always, like, you know, go ride or try new things, or, like, when the mono ski came out, Like they had one.
They're all over it.
They're all over. They like it's like any innovation that was coming out, they had it. Like they were like windsurfing for a while, and it's pretty funny, because I see in my garage like this windsurf board that it's called Funky Windsurf, and now like Funky makes snowboards. It's like a company back in the day that my buddy repicked up. So like literally like they used to make all these crazy things like snowboard, kiteboards and, windsurfers. And it was super cool because they're all made local. So they were like super stoked on this type of stuff. So then they obviously taught their kids, how to wakeboard. We had a little cigarette boat that we used to go out on a little bit. And, they just kind of taught their kids. And thankfully, right across the lake from our house, there is Club Morgan. And it's our wakeboard school where I grew up riding. Crotto del Misto, it's the name of the restaurant. So basically, yeah, we have a wakeboard school right across the lake. So my cousins were wakeboarding all over. And my cousin Giuliano was the best in Italy, was literally super stylish rider. And he was my inspiration for everything. He got me into riding, and just from the first day on, that's all I wanted to do. Like all my friends were like going to play soccer in the summer break and, meet up in the town, like roll around with bikes and stuff like that. And I used to just get picked up at the dock at 7 a.m. and just go shred and then get back at like 7 p.m. Just all day. So basically we would go there. And basically what the wakeboard school is all about, it's basically a super nice restaurant with a hotel and also the chance that like with 3 boats. So then basically you get the chance to ride if you want. So we would always eat with the people working there. My coach is obviously the owner of the spot. So we would eat like not obviously on the tables where it was super nice. We would eat in the kitchen, like with everybody, with the staff. So it was really cool. I remember like, my coach just falling asleep like this, like watching MotoGP at lunch break and stuff like that. So it was really cool. And then there was my best friend, Nico Kaimi. His family had a super nice house right next to the wakeboard school. And even though if my house wasn't that far, like most of the nights in the summer, like I would just stay at my buddy's place, and my mom would get so mad. It's like almost thinking that I liked hanging out with them more than I liked to hanging out with my family.
Closer to wakeboarding.
It was just it's just closer to wakeboarding, and I could just walk up. If I have to ride at 8, we could just walk up at like 7:30 instead of like waking up at like 6:30 and then wait for my coach to come pick me up, and then obviously wasting gas to come pick me up. And then so I used to stay there a little bit, but also there was another kid that used to ride. His name is Mathieu. One of the guys that like helped me, become the person that I am today. My coach built us a little boat with a 20cc motor on it, and so we just go back and forth. It would take
How far are we talking?
We're talking 2Ks, like 1.5 mile.
Oh shit!
miles,
Okay,
yeah.
so not just like lakes in America you can go across.
No,
we're talking.
It's a pretty big cross, like. So it would take us about 20 minutes with a little Mercury 20cc, But at least my coach didn't have to wake up so early and come pick us up.
That's huge. Yeah, definitely.
Huge.
So what age would you say, you remember your first time?
I was about 8 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty young.
Yeah.
Pretty young. And then were you into any other sports? We were talking about snowboarding before we started recording, but.
At this time, my dad is fully committed to snowboarding. My dad is like, Shaun White, I want you to become like Shaun White, like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it was kind of cool because that was the time where Shaun was just absolutely destroying park. He was destroying pipe. Like, he was the shit, basically. So, my dad always, like, let me do fun things, sports and stuff. If it was for sports, like, he was down. But if it was for, like, candies or other stupid stuff, like, it was like, no, you're not getting it. So, basically I was snowboarding full time. In the winter, like sometimes I would go up the mountain at like, on Thursday, and then I would skip Thursday and Friday school. And my dad obviously couldn't come with me. So my cousin used to work up the mountain in a restaurant, so I used to go up and down with him. And then, my dad was never really around watching me train or anything. He would just, it's like
Send you up there.
he would just send me off with people. There's this guy. His name is Guli. Really good friend of mine from Como area. He knew all the guys from Nitro. He knew all the guys, that, were in the snowboarding industry. So like he would take me everywhere with them. So then I got, I was with Nitro Italy for a while, and basically he would take me around all the time. And it was pretty funny because I still remember that I had no idea that this person smoked until I was probably 16. Like, he would just wait for me to fall asleep, and then, he would smoke, and I would wake up, and it's like, I never even know. It was really cool, but he would take me around all the time, and it was amazing.
Okay, so how far were the slopes from your house? Because you lived right on the lake, but how far is the ski resort or snow resort you were going to?
Well, the ski resort, it's there's one resort an hour away, or a couple resorts pretty close, but we used to go up in Alpe di Siusi. I don't know how you pronounce the park, Celsium or something weird like that, but Oberregen, that area, it's it's close to Austria.
Yeah.
Right on the border, and dude, it's sick.
And that's where you would typically
That's
go.
where I typically would go ride all the time, because the Nitro guys were based out of Bolzano and stuff like that. So
Gotcha.
they used to do all kinds of stuff. So, and then I used to ride the World Rookie Tour in the Grom. So I used to just travel around a little bit.
So you were pretty big into snowboarding for a while.
That's all I wanted to do, man. I remember when we went to I got qualified for the World Rookie Tour in Ischgl for the final. And I remember being up top, dropping in for my finals, and I was trying to hit the big jumps, but it was just slushy, and I couldn't get enough speed. I was pinning it from the top, and I would barely make it over. So I was like, "There's no way I could spin on this jump. I'll come short." And we were waxing up every round. And I'm at the top of the hill, and I was like, Rope Tonteri is there, and he's the number one for the rookies. And I'm still in the Groms, and I'm like, Rope, I want to do a back rodeo off that spine. And he's like, yeah. I think you got it. And, I went down and got it first try, and it was really cool, and obviously got fourth because I was hitting the smaller jumps just because I couldn't make it. But I still remember that basically we were all training and stuff, and I see this kid, 8 years old, just spinning back nines off of the small kicker. And I'm like, who is this kid? And then they blow up the freaking airbag, and this kid started chucking double corks.
And back in this day, dub cork 10s were
no
a trick.
It was a trick to do. And this kid is doing double cork, regular, and switch. And I'm like, who is this kid? And then next thing you know, he's Marcus Cleveland. There we go. 8 years old, they blow up the bag, and he's doing double corks like nothing. And I was like, dude, that is crazy. So then after this season, I broke my tibia for the finals session of the park in my local resort. We were up there for the closing. We were shooting for Nitro, and just did a huge front seven off the last jump, and I landed kind of soft. My back leg twisted, so I broke my tibia in a little bit, fractured it. And then I remember it was March, Feb, and I was like, damn, I got my wakeboarding season coming up. I really got to get on it with getting in shape. And I remember when they took the cast off, I literally could barely walk, but I was already strapped into my wakeboard. It was it was amazing. And then that year, I won my first European championships behind the boat, and it was really cool. And I was like, oh, it's already a little bit of a bigger achievement.
Yeah.
Than the World Rookie Fest.
There's a lot of competition in snowboarding.
There was a lot of competition, and it's I was in that moment where I had to figure out if I wanted to go one route or the other.
What age would you say this was?
I think I was around like 13, 14.
Okay.
Yep. And yeah, basically had this result, and then my dad was like, hey, you know, I tried to text Mike Ferraro that I saw that he's Philip Sovin and Dallas Fridays coach. And he said that if we do a video and send it to him, he might be able to coach you for a little bit. And I was like, that'd be cool to go to America and see how it is. And, you know, so my dad got everything started, and yeah, basically went to Tara and Kobe. They used to like just ride and tow people out at OWC. They were managing the boat lake and stuff like that. So I would ride with them, and then a couple times a week I used to ride with Mike Ferraro, and it was pretty cool. And like the first day that I came in America, it was Daniel Watkins going away party. So Kobe took me to this party, and I'm like 15 years old. And I walk in and I see Adam Arrington, Jimmy LaRich, you know, like Rathy, Dean Smith. I was like this. I was like, whoa. I was like, I can't believe that I'm here right now. And I met all my idols basically in one night. And then just chatting around with Adam, he tells me that he's basically riding with Mike Ferraro the next day as well. So I was like, what? So every time like I would ride with Mike, like Adam would be before or after me and stuff like that. So it was just really cool to like, you know, show up the first day and like already felt like I met like some of my idols and stuff. So I was scarred. I was like, I want to do this.
Okay, so I was interested because it sounds like when you won that contest after you broke your leg, that was kind of like the turning point of like, okay, I'm probably going to go to wakeboarding then, and kind of put all my passion in that. And then your dad linked up with Mike Ferraro. So what age was it when you came over? You said 15?
Yeah, I was 15 years old. I came for a month in November, and then couldn't land any new tricks the first trip that I was here.
Really?
I was riding this Harley board. I loved it. Like, I was like first session on it, like landed everything that I could do. And then the more I kept riding it, the more I couldn't ride it. Like, I was lost. And then, you know, I did this month. I loved it though. I had such a good time. And then I told my mom and dad, it's like, hey, I would like to go back in January, February and stay for a couple months, and then maybe try to do some of the first stop of the, you know, weight games and the first pro tour, and then I'll come back for the summer and stuff. So like they G it up and they're like, all right, but just so you know, we can't be doing this forever. You know, it costs a lot of money. So yeah, I came back over and basically just absolutely started loving riding. I hopped on the Watson Classic, and Jeff Langley was just got signed by O'Brien, and so he's hanging out with Ty and Kobe all the time. So he's towing me. He's towing me almost every other day. So I'm like, I'm super hyped. This dude is like stoked on my progression, telling me to do like these crazy tricks. And then I remember going to him. I was like, hey, what's your craziest trick? He's like, dude, I just did a double half cover off the double up. And I was like, no way. And I was like, dude, I was so fired up that, like, you know, I had all these people around me, and I was just spending my whole day at OWC. So, like, I had 2 boat sets a day. What am I going to do the rest of the time? Ride a cable, right? So, like, started riding the cable. Remember, like, seeing these 2 blonde kids that are super good, like, super freaking good.
Wonder who they were.
And I'm like, who are they? Like, I want to become friends with them. But, like, I had a feeling that they were, like, looking at me weird. You know, and then turns out to be Kyle Evans and Keenan Allen, you know, made friends with them at the cable. They're absolutely ripping, insane. I watched Kyle Evans ride on the boat, like first person that rides while I'm at the wakeboard school at OWC, and I hop in the boat and he just does toe 9, switch toe 9, heel 9, whirly 5, like crow 5, like crook, like just does whatever he wants on that board. And I'm like, dude, I'm never going to get this good. Like, that's the first kid I see right here, and he's just tearing it up. Like, and it was super sick. And then we all became friends, and we were riding on the cable. We were doing like slider spectacular, point chases or whatever like it was. So it was just really cool. So it was just like
you got right into it right when you got here. Like there was
right into it.
Okay, so were you getting any attention from sponsors either when you were in Italy or when you got here? Like what's the first kind of hookup you get or deal?
Well, the first kind of little hookups that I started getting was, so I used to ride for, obviously in snowboarding, I used to ride for Nitro, and the same guys that imported Nitro and stuff, they used to do Skull Candy and this Elm company. They used to do hats. So yeah, I think Skull Candy and Elm were like my first little goodie sponsors. They used to give me some goodies and stuff like that. And I was riding for Liquid, and obviously with the guys from Italy, we were able to at that time, just being able to be on the international team was like the shit, like, you know what I mean? So I remember doing a meeting with the guys from Italy and see if they could try to put me in the international team and stuff like that. So it turned out that they put me on the website and stuff like that, but I was still getting boards from back in Italy and stuff like that. And yeah, so that was the first couple hookups. And then when I was 15, my buddy Walter, that is now like the Oakley team manager in Europe, started hooking me up with Oakley, and started making a little bit of money. That was the first sponsor that paid me. First one? Yeah, first sponsor that paid me some money. Actually, They paid me more at 15 than 2019 when I was on the Pro Tour. So it was really cool.
Times are a little different for sure.
Yeah.
Who were some riders and maybe movies that you watched and looked up to back then? You named a couple names when you were over here, but when you were in Italy, were you watching any videos, movies, and riders you looked up to?
Well, I mean, obviously The Truth. I mean, we were watching, we had some old DVDs. I used to watch The Book. I used to just watch tricks and go out and try them, all the time. I still remember to this day, one day I was looking at this front flip. I was looking at front flip. And I went out and I landed a front flip, and then landed a front flip to fakie, and then landed a front flip to blind. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to watch every single trick here. But, I mean, Relentless was another one, another big one. All the boys, Watson, Parks, Grubb, all those guys, Shane, Rathy. Bob, Harley, Phil, those guys were absolutely amazing,
Big names.
And, obviously when I came over here and, at the beginning, I stayed with Terry and Kobe, but then right after that, I went to Australia for a little bit because my coach, Enzo from Italy, he's married to his wife, Maddie, that she's from Australia. So basically, they told me, he's like, dude, I learned how to ride from this guy, Scotty Kell. He's insane, right? You got to go over there and train a little bit with him. So obviously, in the winter, went to Australia, stayed at Scotty's, in the middle of the jungle for 3 months. Loved it. Every person there, they were super nice. A lot of kids coming through. I remember I met Brenton there.
Brenton Priestley.
Yeah, Brenton Priestley, Yep. He came over and rode and stuff like that. Chris O was there too. And then, I was just having a blast with Sam Brown. Sam Brown was 8 years old.
I was going to say, he had to be a time.
Yeah, he was 8 years old. I was, probably 15, 16, obviously I was good friends with Tony because we did the IWWF Worlds in Italy. So Tony came over and we got to shred together. It's like, dude, I got my boat down there, so you can come to my house a little bit. So it was kind of cool. So I used to stay with Scotty, ride with him, then spend the weekend with Tony, and then Sammy will come up for 4 or 5 days. And I remember Sammy was 8 years old already doing all sevens and stuff like that. I was, and I think where I made quite a bit of a turning point, it was Australia. I started learning a bunch of tricks, and having a good time. And then I remember landing my first whirly dick, and I was man, I can't believe that I landed it. This is one of the tricks that has the pro guys win contests, and started feeling pretty good. And I think, Australia was really sick because we used to go also to the cable and stuff like that. They just got done shooting Penny. So Nico Van Leckenfield, like, went out there and, like, tore the cable up. And it was just super sick. I got to ride, some quarter pipes and things like that. So, like, I think, like, Australia
was a big turning point.
It was a pretty big turning point, especially the guys from Liquid in Australia were, like, helping me out, too, like, giving me some boards if I break them and whatnot. And so, Australia was really sick.
Solid crew, too.
Solid crew. Like so then the next year, while I'm down in Australia, I talked to Tony, and Tony's like, bro, I'm going to stay with Trevor Anson, like, up in Claremont next year. You should come. You should stay with us. And I was like, all right, that sounds cool. So we, after the winter, getting ready for the summer, like, we flew to America. Obviously, Tony was good friends with Robbie Houlihan. Robbie had a 230. So we started riding all together out at Trevor's place. Gunner comes down, and because he was really good friends with our buddy Cowboy.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about Cowboy.
Yeah, Cowboy's the man. And basically, like, that was our crew. Our crew was me, Tony, Parker Siegel, Christian Primrose, Ryan Cowboy Anderson. And basically, we were just all together. We used to call ourselves Team Munted because...
Team what?
Team Munted. Munted in Australia, it's like means like fucked up. Like,
okay.
And yeah, we were Team Munted. So we started doing some pretty fun stuff around Trevor's house. And Ryan started taking us out to Orlando for our first, like, little parties. We used to go to Austin Pratt's house. It was really cool. He told me one time, he's like, yeah, you can drive my truck if you want. I never had a license. And I drive on the street. I pull out. And when there's cop cars here in the States, like, just on the side of the roads with the lights on just because there's a hazards or something? I make a right in this big truck that I've never, like, this is my first time driving, and I see the lights, and I just freak out, and I just, like, literally pull over, and I'm like, bro, no, you gotta drive. I ain't got no license, So we used to do all crazy stuff, but it was really cool. Actually, the first time I met Ryan Anderson, I'm on the boat, first set with Trevor. We picked this kid up, long hair. He gets in the boat, and he goes, who's that Watson 134? I was like, mine? Why? Do you mind if I borrow it? I want to try some toe 10s. And I'm like, what? Like, toe 10s? Like, who is this kid? Like, you know what I mean? And then he goes in and he does, like, handle pass to Ole 9, regular and switch, like the Orion 9. And it was just really cool. So Ryan was the guy that, like, started taking us out, like,
okay, and
make us do some fun stuff. And, Gunner was coming down every other day, obviously from his fellow homie from Oklahoma. And, that started being the crew. And after that, Gunner moved in with Mike Dowdy and Keenan Allen, more in the center of Orlando. So he told me, hey, next time you come back, just come here and stay with us. And, that's what happened. When I came back, I stayed with Dowdy, Keenan. Dowdy is, like, on the verge of, like, getting all these new sponsors. He just got signed by Billabong. He's got Nautique.
He's big.
He's got Red Bull. So I'm like, wow, that's crazy. At this point, I think it was my first year that I signed with Red Bull. So I come down and spend a bunch of time with them, and it was just really cool just being able to, like, ride behind this game-changing machine. Like,
it was a big deal.
The G23, you know what I mean? And, like, I'm back in Europe. In the meantime, like, after I came back for the season, I went back to Europe, and then I was gonna go back to Australia for another like month before, like, the new season coming. And I just used to remember, like, that the guys are starting to pump up the backyard series with JB and, like, and all of our, like, junior crew homies. And dude, I was just like, I just want to get back there. I just can't wait to get back there and film with those guys and, get something out. I think it's just super cool. And we had such a good crew. Everybody was, like, super tight. Like, if there was a party or anything, we would always be together. And it was really cool. It was a solid squad. And, that's how it all started. And And then some people obviously, you know, stopped riding for a while or got hurt around that period and a time. And so then we moved to Conway, and we were riding on Conway a lot. So we kind of like thought about like starting this like Conway Kids, and just kind of we wanted to like be united and want to be in a group. And I think like that's super cool, because it's like the group has always a bigger impact than the single person.
Especially with wakeboarding, you could snowboard alone, you can skateboard alone. You cannot wakeboard alone. No. You can't do it. And so and it's also way more fun to do with the crew. But
exactly.
speaking of Dowdy, Mike Dowdy wants to know about the Cheetah Snuggie.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, we obviously moved in with Dowdy. It's insane. It's awesome. Like, he's killing it. He's, like, doing doubles. He's just landed the double roll the blind. Like, you know, he's just on a tear. Like, you know, going from junior pro man, winning every event, into like, you know, pro man and just feeling super comfortable. You know, he's just huge inspiration for us, and he was definitely the leader of the group. And so I came back from Italy with this. For Christmas, I got these things that they go over your feet, that they keep your feet warm, and they were like cheetah print, and like obviously they won't make you slide. You know what I mean? When you walk up barefoot around. So I had these cheetah slides, and I loved them. And Dowdy like was like, bro, let me wear those things. Those things are super cool, right? And I was like, no, bro, those are mine. And then I go with Gunner into like a sexy shop or something, like at the mall or something. And I see the Tuggy. And I was like, dude, this is a sock for your dong? Like, I need this. And they have the cheetah print, so I could literally walk out with a Snuggie on, cheetah print, and my like little like socks, warming socks, cheetah print. Like, if I come out like this, no girl's gonna say no to me. And then, so yeah, we got the Tuggies, and you know, obviously we were just wearing it around the house, you know, Tuggy around, and it was pretty funny.
So Dowdy never got one, though.
No, Dowdy never got one. He was jealous, but he did end up stealing my cheetah print like socks.
I guess you wouldn't.
Really cool.
You wouldn't steal the Tuggy. You'd steal the socks.
Yeah. After I wore the Tuggy, if you would have stole the Tuggy,
it's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird.
All right. So before we move on from kind of growing up Italy, did you have a coach? It sounds like you did. You kind of touched on it, but I'm curious to see how important. You know, some riders have a coach. Some riders have never had a coach. Aren't really about it. How important was it for you to have a coach growing up?
I think it was just really important for me to have a coach because, like, I mean, first of all, Enzo is absolutely fantastic with the kids. He's got this way of being around the kids and teaching them how to ride with so much patience and stuff like that, that he is just really good. So basically for me, it was just, you know, try to have somebody else tell me like exactly what to do and just get an outside like perspective of what I'm doing. But I had a bunch of different coaches throughout the years, you know what I mean? And, you know, as soon as I started moving away from Italy and going to the States, I was just riding a lot more with friends and stuff like that. But even up to this day, when I go back and there's a trick that, like, you know, it's not like coming out good right now or whatever, it's always good to have somebody that tells you, hey, dude, you're actually honestly doing this. If you fix this, you're good, right? But for me, what was really important, it was being able to be here by myself, because I moved here by myself, you know, from Italy, not knowing anybody, and I'm going to try to pursue this thing, and I'm at this contest, and I'm by myself. So I don't really know how to act before I got a ride, right? So I was always like, you know, trying to make everybody laugh, like all over the place, just kind of going wild on the dock, and I wasn't taking my time, but it's just because I was by myself, you know. So I started, you know, talking to Enzo, and I'd be like, hey, listen, like, you know, what do you think about doing this? What do you think about if I do this? And so it was really cool to have somebody that you can call up before the contest and stuff like that. He never really got to travel with me and help me throughout like the WWA contest and stuff like that. But what was really cool, it was like when I go do the IWWF contest, that we have the Italian team and we have the whole squad. Like, I was able to perform a little better. I was able to feel a lot more comfortable just because I just had somebody that I could, talk to before I got to go riding, right? And, like, I had somebody that would tell me, Massey, do not fucking change your run right now, because if you go out there and you tell me a run and you go out there and you change your run, it's not going to work, right? I used to do that all the time.
You have one run, do a different one?
Yeah, I used to go out there, ride, and then just change up stuff like mid-ride. And it's like, no. You know what I mean? So that like, I always felt like I was doing better for a while, like in the IWWF contest, just because I was surrounded by so many other people. And people that I knew that I could actually talk to, or they could, just being on the dock and having, one of the coaches throw the rope or something like that. Like,
make you feel comfortable.
It just made me feel comfortable. And I realized, like, later on that it was like, dude, I was just so all over the place for a while. Like, just, before. And I was getting mad because I'm like, how some of these riders that I ride all the time with them, like, they almost are way better in contest than. It's like they can put it down in contest, and sometimes they, don't ride as precise, or so consistent. But, like, it's cool to see that some riders just got this thing in them that, like, whenever it's time to, like, turn it on, it's like they get better.
Yeah, pressure.
And I was just like, dude, how can I do that? But there was a bit of a tough time in between when I started going pro, and my dad obviously was home working, and people were telling him that, like, I was pretty good, and I could do good in some of the big contests, even in the pro division and stuff like that. And my dad is just, sitting at home working and just seeing the results not coming. And I just used to remember that, man, I was so scared to pick up the phone and call my dad to tell him, hey, Dad, I didn't do good. Just because I knew how much of he was already disappointed for me.
That you didn't do good.
That I didn't do good. And especially, like, I remember, and looking back now, I'm like, dude, I was, like, going into the contest with, in my head, is like, oh, what if I got to call my dad and tell him that I didn't do good? Like, it's not going to be good, right? But my dad, like, never, like, pushed me to, like, oh, you got to learn this, you got to do this, you got to do this. But it was, like, really disappointing for me. But I was taking it in a certain way because I already, was mad at myself for not being able to, like, do whatever I wanted to do.
You're putting even more on yourself.
I'm putting even more on myself.
Yeah.
And then, there was a bit of a dark time where, I was, like, kind of lost. And then I decided that with my dad and my mom, we'll go do a sports psychology session. So we went, and I met this wonderful person, Lucia. She's super, 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 super good person. And I started talking to her a little bit here and there, and I gotten so much respect for her for, like, the knowledge that she has on a lot of things. We did a session with my mom and dad, and she was just straight up to my dad. Is like, Massey needs a father, like, needs somebody that, like, supports him in everything he does, and whatever. And then from there on, my dad never said a word about anything, and everything changed.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by didn't say a word?
Didn't say a word about, like, none of my contests if I didn't do good or whatever. He's just supportive. He was just like, dude, it's okay. It's on to the next one. Just, and he was just like, even if I tell him, like, hey, I didn't make it through, he's like, okay, next time, like, and my dad stopped worrying about, like, what I was doing, and, saw the way that I was approaching, like, some big shoots with some of the brands that, like, I was working with. And he just saw the way that, like, my work ethic was pretty good. And he just, like, stopped worrying. He's like, he's got it down, because even if he doesn't do that good in that contest,
this podium isn't everything.
It's like, this podium is not everything. He's like, I saw the way that he works and how people treat him, the way, like, when they're working together, and, like, that if, like, the camera crew wants to do this and whatever, he just goes over and tells the camera crew even where to put themselves, like, or, like, stuff like that. And always try to do more than than what my sponsor asked me and stuff like that. Like I was telling my dad, I was like, hey, I'm working on a lot of cool things. Just trust me. Like, you know, if in Italy people are saying that like, oh, I'm always out partying with people or not concentrating or whatever, it's like, no, if I'm out because there's some people that I need to be out with. I need to be involved with. I need to talk about like, you know, future projects, things like evolve, you know. Like,
I'm not just fucking
it's
around,
like, I'm not like just going out, just getting drunk and like, you know, not riding. Actually, it's like if I'm going out, it's because
for a reason.
You know what I mean? And, you know, we know some of the coolest idea always come out from a night of drinking with somebody, you know?
Yeah.
Or just chatting it up. So for a while, it's like, Dad, don't worry about whatever they say. Trust me. And, you know, and he was just like, from there on, he just like trusted me and, you know, never had anything to say about one of my contests that didn't go well
And you'd say that was like a big turning point in terms of your mental,
that was a big turning point for like, you know, just being able to like understand the world of being an athlete. You know what I mean? There's so many things that come. There's so many things that can affect you. And so, yeah, I think this one was a big one for me because just finally, you know, I just could go in and just do me. Yeah. You know, I didn't have to worry about, you know, because obviously I always felt like that my parents did so much for me to let me go away that young. Like I'm a only child too. Like, so my mom is just, you know, let me go at like 15.
Hardly ever see you again.
And like, yeah, hardly ever see me again. And you know what I mean? I always felt I felt like that I had to repay him somehow. And I wanted it so bad. Like I wanted it so bad. And then, yeah, I won the IWWF Worlds in 2015. My mom and dad were there. And to me, like, that was one of the coolest thing that ever happened. Like, they never really come to see me in any contest. They come to Mexico.
So they did come to that one?
Yeah, they did come to Mexico. And, you know, I got a tattoo. like after qualies, we had one day off. And me and my buddy Nico, we go and we get this, like, this candy,
that's where that
candy skull. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
A big one.
Yeah, we go and get it, and literally like we have one day, and then the next day we have semis, and you know I ended up going through and ended up winning the contest, and like we grabbed my dad and his dad, and we took him to the shop right after the contest, and they got the same tattoo.
No shit.
It was sick. It was sick. My dad had like a pretty shitty dolphin, like all faded in the back of his shoulders. Like, hey, we're gonna cover that up. We're gonna do the same tattoo. Like,
That's
this is really cool. So yeah, after that one tournament, like I felt like I was like, okay, I was able to prove my parents that I could do it, and
they were there.
They were there. They saw it, and you know that was another big turning point, I think, for me, and especially because you know. The riders at that time, it was like there were some pretty heavy riders in that IWWF Worlds. Like Harley was there. That was Phil Sovin last contest ever.
You retired him.
Yeah, I know, but I love Phil. Phil is one of these persons that like throughout my career, like he took the time to like
really.
Yeah, he straight up took the time to like help me out, go ride with him. Like I used to go to some of the pro tours with him. Like he would watch South Park on the drive up. Always. Phil was a huge South Park fan.
Interesting. But
no, Phil, I have so much respect for him. Just try to help me out so much. And yeah, I love Phil.
So you got a lot of tattoos. So does that mean, is that one for every win?
No.
You get a tattoo before every win? I mean, I feel like
I kind of got started with a couple tattoos, and I was like super hyped on them, and then for a while I was like not super hyped on them anymore, and then I just kind of started again like last year and stuff. But like it takes time. It takes time. Like you can get super G'd up and get like 5 in like a month, and then for a while, then if you don't keep getting some ink, like you just kind of like
fall out of it.
It's just kind of like
It's not cheap either.
It's not cheap.
I mean, good ones, obviously.
Yeah.
But.
And then the water, especially. Water, sun, like, you know, for us, it's not the best. Like, you want to let it heal pretty good.
Well, you didn't let that one in Mexico heal, but that seemed to work out
Not even
for
this one. I think when I did this one, I was shooting my pro spotlight, and Thomas Gustafsson shot me for my pro spot like the day after I got this. And he actually came in the tattoo studio.
Though,
he came actually in the studio and took photos while I was getting the tat.
That's sick. Funny. That's sick. Okay, so before we wrap up kind of the early days of Italy and stuff, you were talking about IWWF, and I think it's interesting to compare. You have probably a good outlook on this of growing up in Italy, riding there, and you guys have a federation that kind of helps out with riders, right? Action sports athletes. So compare that a little bit to what you've experienced and we're experiencing in America.
Well, I mean, Italy is such a good place to wakeboard and also be around with the federation. We have a program that actually works. So basically, the people that are actually in the team, they get to, train together like 4 or 5 times a year for like maybe a week or something, like prior to some of the contests. And based on like how many results you've had and stuff like this, like you get like a little budget from them. So basically, if you won a lot of contests and you're still one of their top athletes and stuff like that, they'll help you out with hours paid.
What do you mean?
Like hours of riding. So basically, let's just say in Italy, you have to have like a membership, or you have to be signed to a club, to a wakeboard club, right? And basically, once you're signed to that wakeboard club, what the federation does is like they write down all the hours you do throughout the year, and then they'll give you 60 hours paid, for example, or something so then you don't really see the money because they just forward it directly to the club because to help you
for you to ride,
you know what I mean? But then since now that I'm a little bit I never really ride in Italy anymore and stuff like that. Now they kind of give me those hours directly to me. But before when I was in the club and I was riding a lot in the club, they would just pay these hours to the club. Okay. So then I have at a big discount,
Is that still going on over there?
That is still going on. For a while, dude, what they had something really cool that it was like, if you win a Europeans, it was 10 grand. And if you win a world championship, it's 20 grand.
The federation would pay.
Yes.
Wow.
Dude, I started winning them. And then as soon as I won the worlds and I got the 20 G's, all right, we're not doing this anymore. So then I won other 5 or 6 Europeans after that, and then never got anything. So then, some things are kind of annoying because you're like, I love the Italian team. I want to be there. Especially I want to be there for the kids. That's what I want to do right now. I know that I might not be making money from the contest, but then obviously if you do your contracts right and you kind of start thinking a little bit and you do a couple bonuses and stuff like that, then you can still make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And you can also go around with the Italian team, travel with all the Groms, and you know how cool it is for a Grom to be on the same team that of a person that you look up, and then this person always come to the dock with you and help you out, structure your run, or just being around them, and
they're a legit professional athlete. It's whoa,
it's just it's just kind of cool, you know what I mean? It's just to me, it's I could just say, no, screw the Europeans, I'm not going, or I could be I'm gonna go for the team. I'm gonna go for the team, and I'm gonna go for the people, for the young Groms, that they just they just love it. It's just priceless, dude. You know what I mean? And I'm on top of that, who knows? Maybe one day, when my career is gonna be over, I might be working for the federation and I can start bringing a lot of cooler stuff in, but not right now. But I mean, as long as I can be close to some kids, help them out on the dock. Dude, we had this 13-year-old kid riding the boys, super sick. He goes out super windy and does his old pass, falls on a chromobe. He goes huge on a chromobe. He just learned it this year. Falls on a chromobe, and he's right by the 3/4 buoy, right by it. And obviously, if I was in the boat, I was like, pick this kid up. He wants to just go and try another chromo. Like, we're in the boys division. And he was this far, like, past the buoy, and they didn't pick him up. Kid comes back in tears. In tears. Like, I wasn't after the buoy. And, like, just being able to grab him, I'm like, bro, you killed it. You did so good. Screw the driver that didn't, like, you know, pick you up like I would have, but it's okay. Next year, you know what we're going to do? We're not going to fall. So we're
going to have it stomped.
Yeah, you're going to stomp it. You still made the podium. You still got third. Like, let's go. You know, just celebrate your little wins and move on.
Huge.
You know what I mean?
To shift it from a negative to a positive outlook is huge.
Exactly. And it's just super fun to be around them and see how they acting and how well they're riding already, and it's truly priceless. So if I can, I always try to go to these contests, especially because I also like being in a family environment, you know, being with everybody, stay close, you know, eat with the whole team, and you know, it's cool, and it brings everybody together too, and it makes you feel like that you're not alone, you know.
It sounds huge for the culture, and obviously, like you were talking about the kids of like getting into it, staying into it, keeping a positive attitude. It's like the whole federation, bringing everyone together is huge.
Well, over here, it's a little bit different. Over here, it's like we don't have like a federation like that, and you know, I know, for example, Tyler, you know what I mean, like he hardly ever does like the IWWF contest, but like sometimes, you know, at Worlds, there is a bit of prize money, so he wants to do that. But in order to be able to do that, then he has to do this other contest. And you know what I mean? And if they don't, like, really help you out very much here, like, you might as well, like, you're already doing so many contests a year. Like, do you really want to go to another contest where you have to, like, still pay everything out of your pocket and stuff like that? Like, we're super lucky that our federation takes care of, like, our travel and stay when we go and do this IWWF contest. So I feel really lucky to be able to be a part of something like that, and I know that there's not many other places in the world that they do this. Yeah. Like, I know for a fact that Guy Fire, like, if he wins a Europeans from his federation in Israel, he gets paid bank. You know what I mean? And he's just like, you know what I mean? You got to feel really, you know, lucky to have something like this, because some people don't have it. Yeah. And especially also for the young generation, just being able to be picked up by the federation since you are in the boys division and stuff like that, that means that you can go around with the team and train like for free and with the best riders in Italy. So it's motivating, you know?
100%, dude. It has to be. And that's, it's an interesting, I mean, it's like a sponsorship basically for all these kids without it being attached to an actual brand or anything. Which is cool. So
there's a lot of things that I want to change and want to do, like, obviously with the federations, but obviously it's not easy. It's like, it's a lot of politics and stuff like that at the end of the day. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's literally politics, right?
Yeah, it's literally politics. Like, you know what I mean? But, like, you know, the Italian Federation for wakeboarding, I think it's called FISWS.
Water ski or water sports.
Yeah, it's like Italian Federation or whatever, surf, wake, and ski. Okay. So, like, surfing, now it's like part of like our federation for the Olympics. Like surfing, like, so it's really good. So, like, we can get like a lot more funds by the government if we start, you know, having really good results every year. Then the more results you do that you bring to the government, the more they're gonna fund you. You know, and having obviously, you know, Leo Fioravanti and all this amazing surfer in our federation, it's gonna help. It's gonna help somehow to get more funding. So
interesting. Federation's it's an interesting topic, and I'd be curious to talk to other people and other, like, I'd be curious to talk to Guy how that works with them. It's probably similar but different, I'm sure.
100%.
I think it's time for the wheel. I think it's time for you to spin the wheel, Massi. So go ahead and grab that sucker and bring it on down. So this is the LF and Wheel of Questions presented by Liquid Force.
The LF and Wheel of Questions. Okay, let's go.
You could probably twist it so it's facing that one. Yeah, money. And then we got a bunch of stuff on here. We got some pizza trivia, a couple just questions, fun things to do. So yeah, go ahead and give that a good big spin. Love it. Pizza trivia. Okay.
Dude, you called it out.
I did. I love that. And that's spun around a couple times. So
You called it out.
I got 2 pizza trivia questions.
Okay.
You got to get one. The second one is pretty hard, so I don't know if you'd get it, but when was pizza invented?
When?
When? I'll give you when or where.
I mean, where? Naples.
Okay. Do you have any idea when?
I don't even know.
It wasn't as long. I don't know. I
It
don't know.
was as long as we think.
I mean, I guess what do you like? Jesus time or like within the last couple hundred years? Like it's not Jesus time. It's not like before.
No.
It's not way back then.
No. But in the 1800s?
It is 1800s. Yeah, 1889. It was
1889.
tough because I don't know like what officially was pizza, what's not, but that's what Google gave.
That's
me.
1889.
It's a long time ago.
It's a long time ago, but Naples. Shout out Naples. Shout out Que Costa Rica. This is one of my friends from Italy. His family owns Don Antonio Basterita, and it's one of the most amazing pizza places in Naples ever. And it's so good. And
What kind of pizza is it?
It's like full Napolitanian
Okay.
pizza, and it's like one of the most famous restaurants to actually go and eat a pizza. And we actually did a byway collab of a one board for me in I think 2018, and it was the marble pizza with the marble board on top with the pizza on the bottom. And it's actually in my buddy's restaurant in Naples.
That's sick.
So it's pretty sick.
That's the
So when you
spot.
walk in, you see this Ronix in like this Ronix board with like the Ronix written in an Italian flag and the pizza all around.
That's pretty sick. That's a
Pretty
spot
cool.
to be if you're in Italy.
Spot
Go
to
there. Second trivia question. I just thought this one was interesting.
All right.
What year did the first pizzeria open in North Korea?
Ooh, North Korea. Okay. 1923.
2009.
Oh, what?
Every
Really?
night pizza, yeah, dude. So,
Dude?
I mean, they don't have a lot of things in North Korea, but
Oh, no. Yeah.
not South Korea, North Korea.
Oh, North Korea. Wow.
Yeah, 2009. So that's kind of a bummer for them.
We got to tell Kim Jong that he should have hopped on that train earlier.
Absolutely. You can go ahead and put that back up on there if you can.
All right. Well, that pizza trivia was pretty nice. I learned some things that I didn't even know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I could have given you a layup, like some easy ones, but I wanted them to be
No.
I don't know, a little bit.
For sure.
Want the listeners to learn something. So before we jump into some other stuff, I think kind of a good time to talk about some injuries. So I know you've had a few. You kind of alluded to one earlier, but I think the first one to start off with is your knee injury at Lake Ronix. So I guess just kind of set the scene and run us through that one.
Dude, it was so funny because I was actually talking about this yesterday with a couple of my friends. Yeah, man. Like, obviously, it's not all fairy tales and rainbows out here. So sometimes you end up going down. Yeah, man. Looking back at my knee injury, it was kind of a weird day, man. My friend Georgia Gregorio, she was really good, and she hurt her knee, and then did her whole rehab, and then came back to Florida to ride a little bit. She just gotten back from her knee injury, and I go out with her, Harley, a couple people, and we're having a good time riding on my lake. And then Gina does this back roll, and she lands it kind of weird, and she's like in so much pain. So we go back, pick her out of the water, and her knee is just massive. It's massive. And we're like, no, dude, she literally just got back from her injury. Like, this is so unfortunate, right? And then, so we take her back to the house, we get her, laying down, ice and whatever. And then obviously I'm on the phone with Ruck, and Ruck calls me and he's like, hey, we might gonna shoot some double ups here at the lake. Come out, whatever. We got some dealers or whatever. So we go out to the lake. We're supposed to do this sunset double up session. And dude, I'm feeling like crap. I'm not feeling good. Like, just obviously some of the stuff that happened before obviously had to do with it. And So we're out of the lake, and I take 2 Advils. I never really take like medicine, like unless I have to. And I'm like, I take 2 Advils. I'm like, oh, I got a headache, and I don't feel too good. So then I lay down, and I kind of take a little bit of a nap. And then, we fire up the boat. We go out, get the crew ready to film. First double up, I just, do a stale front 3, like off the dub, and I just kind of cased. And when I came down, I kind of cased pretty heavy, but like I just kind of like, let myself go back, like lay down backwards. And like, I guess my board was already on the water. So when I laid down like this, my back knee just fucking twisted. It twisted, and I felt it like bend and twist in a way that like it never did before. So I remember, like, I tell him, come over. Like, no, not much pain.
Okay. Interesting.
So they tell everybody to come through, come back, and they get me out, And I'm like, I think I did it, guys. I think I did it. Like, I felt my knee bending and twisting in a way that, like, I never done before. I didn't feel a pop, though. Anyways, I take the board off, and but no, I can squat all the way down and whatnot. So then basically, I get back, put some ice on it. It didn't really get too swollen. It didn't get too crazy. So the next day I could actually still walk, doing pretty good. And I was like, oh, maybe I just came close and I just like didn't do it. So then I go, obviously get my MRI and stuff like that. And we're just getting ready to like start.
Yeah, what time of the year is
like
this?
We're like, it's April. Okay. Like we're literally like the week after, like we're about to start shooting for Ronix, like 2020. No, it was in 2018, so 2019 Ronix, right? So then I'm coming back out the week after, starting to feel pretty good. Like I don't think I blow my knee. I get this call from the doctors, like, yeah, your ACL is pretty much gone. Like you still got a tiny bit. Like a super small piece attached, but like your MCL and ACL basically gone. And I was like, I remember I was with Danny Harf in the car, and I was like, almost started crying. Like I was like, no. And, but then I was like, my knee wasn't feeling too bad. So I was like, but I can't just get surgery right now. Like at least I got to make it to the Malibu shoot. I got to shoot some stuff for Follow. I got to shoot some stuff for Ronix or for 2019. And I'm like, I'm going to go back in the gym for 3 weeks, work super hard, order a knee brace, ride with my ACL torn, get all these shoots done. So then at least I'm looking good for next year. And you know what I mean?
Then I can rehab
So then I
fully.
can, like rehab fully. So I did that. My knee was actually feeling pretty good. Sometimes when
I was going to ask, like, okay, so it's mostly torn, but there's still a little bit connected.
It's
How does
still a
it
little
feel
like,
day to day?
On a day to day, dude, I was running. I was doing like, I was doing everything. Everything was fine. Like, no big deal. But like sometimes when I would land a little bit deep, like I would land and then like my knee would get like a crazy pain, like a pain around for a little bit, and then it would go away. So then when I felt that, I was like, okay, I got to get it fixed. Like, I'm going to get it fixed. Because I was like, if it doesn't bother me, I'm going to keep it.
Yeah.
But I remember that when I landed, like, super deep, this pretty big pain, like, started to go around the whole knee and stuff like that. So I was like, it's not really worth it. But I was able to get all my shoots done. I was riding. Like, didn't really care. Like, I was just like, hey, try not to, like, case or overshoot. But, like, I was trying to be a little bit careful. But then, then I went back to Italy around June and got the surgery. And it was pretty crazy because, like, the day before surgery, the day before going in for surgery, I fully had a set, like, having a good time, like, hit a couple double-ups, too. Like, and then I went from being totally, like, functional to in bed, not being able to do nothing, crazy pain, like, on the knee because I obviously did the patella. I remember that it was like they wanted me to stay for like 2 days at the hospital, and that was like pretty expensive. And I was like, I'm pretty sure in America they send you home right after you get surgery. So like I was able to stay a day later, save some money there, and stuff like that. But yeah, I remember just my knee was super bad, dude. It hurt so much. Like I couldn't fall asleep for like the first month. like I couldn't sleep at all. I would like get maybe like 2 hours of sleep every night. The only thing that was making me feel better, it was like the game ready. Like it was just this crazy throbbing pain. Like it wasn't even too crazy, but it was always there.
Just wouldn't go away.
Just wouldn't go away, right? And then after a month, as soon as I started like, you know, moving around a little bit and stuff like that, it just, you know, and I was able to start getting into the gym and stuff, like that whole change, you know, obviously I was like, all right, I got to get back on it. And I remember like the craziest but weirdest but more like pain that would give me satisfaction was when Justin was like pushing with his shoulder on my knee to have it bend. Like it would hurt, like it wouldn't go, like it wouldn't go, like you feel it like it's stuck. But then when you release it, it just feels so good. Like it just feels so good to be able to like bend it and like re-stretch it out. I don't know. It's like some people hate it, but like I hated it but love it at the same time. But then like I remember, and there was the debate of like, oh, what should I do? Should I come back in 6 months or should I wait a little longer? And then at the end of the day, 6 months was in December. I was able to go snowboarding a little bit. I took it pretty mellow, like super chill, just like, you know.
No back 10 doubles.
No, I none of that. And basically I remember just like, it feels pretty good. Like, you know, I still feel like that my knee, it's different than like my normal knee. Like I totally feel that it's stuck a little bit. But then when I was doing activity, it just felt normal. Like, you know, I could tell the difference when I'm walking, but I can't tell the difference when I'm riding. So then, you know, obviously it was, you know, we waited 8-9 months and then started riding in February. And, you know, as soon as I started riding, like my knee was feeling good.
Was it mentally tough? I mean, obviously that month when you can't sleep, you can't move, that's got to be a really, really fucking hard month to like get over. I mean, how did you get through that time? Were you looking to anyone for advice that had knee injuries, you know, in the past that you're asking or anything? Well,
I kind of knew that it was like normal. Because, like, at the end of the day, I did more damage to my knee because I cut a piece of the patella tendon, reattached that, like, to go do all that.
It's to be expected, yeah.
It's to be expected, and all I wanted to make sure that I didn't get an infection, and obviously, like, I was always a side sleeper, a face-down sleeper, and then throughout that time, it helped me learn how to sleep, like almost like a mummy, like,
that's the way you're supposed to sleep.
That's the way you're supposed to sleep. And I remember like so many times, like I would wake up, my shoulder would feel weird, like whatever, just because you sleep so weird. And now I sleep like face up the whole time.
Wow.
So, and obviously you look at some videos and some things online, but like the only thing that was making me feel satisfaction, it was the game ready, like was ice. So like, if I had the game ready on, like I could pass out for a few hours.
What's the game ready?
It's game ready is basically this big box where you put ice and water in it, and you plug in with a tube, and there's like a huge there's a huge band where you put your knee into it, and basically the water with ice just cycles through because it's all electric, so it keeps on moving. So basically the cold water just keep flowing through, and it's the best way to ice.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's such a sick tool.
I didn't know. And that's for the knee specifically?
Yeah, it's for the knee, for the arm. They basically for every, like they have attachments for every single part of the body, even for shoulder and stuff like that. But it's cool. You put ice, water, and basically this little pump just cycles it through it, and it gets pretty cold.
Hell yeah. So when you were getting back to riding, is that, you know, you're talking about mentally when you went through the surgery, it's to be expected, so it's tough, but you know, it's, you know, the road that you have to get down to get recovered. What's it like when you're back riding? Is there something in the back of your head that's always like, am I going to do my other knee? Is it tough to get back to riding? Like,
there's a couple things. Like I was scared of tantrum the blinds for a while. I don't know why. I don't know, but like it's just being over the back leg, over the front, like on the landing, like if you go deep or something, like I was kind of scared of those a little bit. And I remember just getting some like calf cramps like crazy. Like I went down to, like my first bit of time riding was right around that follow shoot that we did down in Turks and Caicos. And I remember being down with the guys, and my calf would like lock up pretty chronically, but like it only happened for like, you know, a couple weeks, and then as soon as, you know, got the flow of riding back, it was better. But honestly, like when you in 8 months, all you can do it's go to the gym like once, maybe sometimes even twice a day. Like I was feeling pretty confident, like in a certain way. Like I knew that I put like a bunch of time into it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm coming back from a knee injury. Take it slow, feel your body, because like throughout injuries and stuff, you learn a lot about your bodies. You learn when it's time to chuck some things, when it's not time to chuck some things, and like, you know, you if you pay good attention to your body and stuff like that, like injuries can help you out, can help you figure a lot of things out. Like that's what they did with me. It's like, obviously there's a lot of bad things that can go through your head. It's like, oh, will I ever be on the podium again? Will I ever be able to land a new trick again? Or will I ever be able to ride the same way that I was? You know, that's always, you know, a little bit in the back of the mind. But if you put in the work and whatnot, like it's gonna make you better. Yeah. Like you can take a look at your injuries and figure it out, like what you want to take from it and make it a positive thing instead of like a negative thing, you know?
Interesting.
That was something that was super huge for me.
But you have to go into that with that in mind.
Yeah, you got to go in with that in mind, and, you know, you always got to think of, like, you know, all the times that I was, you know, pissed off because I didn't ride so good or whatever, or some stuff like that where I was like, you know, I shouldn't be happy today. I don't deserve because I didn't ride as good as what. And, you know, now I'm off the water for 8 months. So, like, be thankful whenever, like, you know, you can ride and you're good. Even if you don't ride too good, okay, whatever. It doesn't matter. Go out, have fun, because you can still do it the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's kind of it's taken away for a little bit, and I feel like I've talked to a lot of people who had injuries, and they're like, there's different aspects of why it's good, why you can spin it to be good, and a lot of people are like, well, I had this thing taken away from me, now I have a new appreciation for it when I go back to it, and that's one aspect of how it can be good, or learning about your body. So it's important for anyone going through an injury to hear of, like, well, you know, it sucks, but there's a lot of good that can come out of it. So
totally, and you know, like, even like with the boys now, like. The guys from La Familia, we ride together all the time. Like, we're doing a movie, we go out winching and stuff like that. I'm always for winch smarter, not harder, because I learned one time, and
what do you mean?
You know, I broke my arm. When I broke my arm, it was pretty heavy. It was a winch spot. It was pretty gnarly. Just have won a 2019 Alliance Rider of the Year. I just felt like I was so focused. Like, around that time, I was so focused that I was like, I want to let people not understand. I want to prove that I can ride rails as well. Like, it's not that, like, you know, I'm just a boat rider and this is just what I do. Is like, I want to prove that, like, that was a big part. Like, I really wanted to be respected, and, you know, even on the rail side of things, and that's all I was focusing on. And I just had one Rider of the Year for Alliance. So then I was like, okay, we're filming this movie Citrus or whatever. Like, I gotta do something gnarly, you know. And I went there, the spot, landed the trick first try, and then I was just, oh no, let me keep going. I want to just pop over this thing hardway 2 on the last thing. And I was like, mate, what are you thinking? I was just like, you know, I kind of ollie down kind of weird, and I slapped my board like this on this like pipe, and then I just tumbled over, and basically, like, my arm hit like this, one of the pipes, and snapped in half right away. Bone out of my skin and stuff like that right here.
Yeah.
Dom freaking out, like Cole freaking out, Ruck freaking out, like. I'm like in the water, like my arm literally is out here, and as I'm in the water, like I feel this thing like kind of come back in, and I didn't know if it was my elbow or whatnot, but like when I was moving, I could totally, like, think about like your humerus, right? I did like a move to try to get up, and I felt the top part of the humerus move, but not the bottom part. So it's like, you know what I mean? I could totally like I had a feeling that my whole arm was snapped in half.
And was there any pain at this point, or were you just totally like?
Oh, I'm freaking the fuck out. Like I'm there, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, like, and I get out, I hold my arm like this, I get out, and I get to like Ruck and Cole, and I sit down. Dommy is shook.
It's not what you want to see.
It's not what you want to see. So I'm sitting down, and I'm like about to faint. Like I'm like. And I see the whole time is like, by the time I'm like, get in the car, get to the hospital, get some help, and they give me some medicine or something to not feel this pain, it's going to be a while. So I better get up now and get moving. So I got up. I almost fainted. They had to like carry me over this, 7-foot, 8-foot fence, so I go over the fence. I'm still in my like jacket. Like, I don't know what I did. Like, I still haven't looked at my arm. Yeah. I'm still got the jacket, still got the booties on. Dommy is going down. Like, I'm laying in the back of my truck. Dommy with my truck driving straight to the Orlando Health. And we get there, and I literally walked in still kind of soaking wet. The water was kind of dirty in that spot, too. It was like a pond. So, like, I'm literally checking. Like, I do the line to check myself in, and I'm like, guys, I'm pretty sure my arm isn't snapped in half. So then they cut my jacket off, and I see blood coming out, and I'm like, oh my God.
The blood situation?
Like, the blood was like dripping on the floor, and I'm like, wow. So then I'm like, they put me into this room, and they basically tell me, like, they do the x-ray, they do everything. You could totally see arm snapped in half. But luckily, it was a clean break. No pieces of bone, like, out and about, just clean snap. Perfect. Right? And that already, like, kind of gave me a little bit more of hope, because I'm like, at least, like, it's like, at least it's not disintegrated that they have to, like, it's clean snap. Obviously going to have to put a rod in there or whatever. And then they come out and they tell me, you got to get surgery. I was in dirty water. Like, it's like, if any infection comes up, like, we can cut your arm off. Like,
I just feel like I immediately come to Raph and his injury.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's exactly where your mind goes.
Right? And I'm like, my mind was on Raph, 100%. And then I'm just, I was like, whatever, get me in for surgery. But I had an insurance that it was basically like European. So they didn't take it over here. So when I blew my knee and I was able to walk and stuff like that, like, it was a total different thing, because, I go home, get surgery home, no big deal, right? Yeah. Over here, I didn't, like, my insurance wasn't kicking in, wasn't working, but the guys are like, we gotta do this. Like, you could potentially lose your arm and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, let's go, let's do it, whatever. We'll figure it out later. Yeah. I thought of $17,000 for a private knee surgery in Italy, $60,000 max in America for an arm surgery, right? Basically, I go in, get all my surgery, everything goes well. I get back home, start doing rehab. I was able to, like, move it. It took a little less than I thought, like, but I wasn't too sure at the time. When the doctor told me, yeah, you could slowly start riding, I'm like, really? Like, are you serious? Like, because I don't really feel like I could
broke my arm in half.
Yeah,
dude,
like after like 4 months, he was like, you can ride. But I'm like, bro, I don't know if I feel like, you sure? Like, yeah, you good. So then I start riding, whatever, and bro, like, I'm thinking that I'm getting this tennis elbow like crazy, like, so, you know what I mean? The more I fatigue the arm, the more I could pull less, the more I could, I'm less reactive, and bro, 2 years go by. Last year, right before IWWF Worlds in Italy, we were shooting for, like, the online PWT that I wasn't a big fan of, but I had to. And then we had Wakefest the week after.
Yep.
And, I'm riding pretty good. And I'm like, normal day out at the house, I just got my finals double up. So, like, all right, tomorrow I'm going to do some stretching. Tomorrow I'm going to go out, have the arm nice and relaxed from the stretching session the night before. And I'm going to get this run. And then next week we can focus on Wakefest. Bro, after I eat, I get down and start basically foam rolling my arm, and I feel some areas where, like, I'm getting like a shock, like a weird shock, And I'm like, oh, this is the area there where I gotta be nice and gentle. But I'm not putting my whole body weight. I'm just like being chill, right? And then as soon as I get up from the foam roller, I just got this weird zap in my thumb. And it's like, it's not going away. And like I was like, oh, I'm gonna take an anti-inflammatory. Tomorrow I'll be fine, whatever. And I go to shake this little anti-inflammatory and it falls on the ground 2 times. Like I can't grip it. And I'm like freaking out. So I start calling all my physios and stuff. My physio's out of town teaching. So then I hit up, my friend Justin. It was like, Justin, I'm like, hey, you gotta see me. Like, I got this problem. And then I'm thinking that I'm gonna see Justin, my friend Justin, but I get there and it's not him. He's like, he was out of town or whatever. And I'm with like this masseuse girl, and I'm like, oh my God. It's like, oh my God, like, I'm explaining her, like, listen, like, this is a nerve thing. Like, I never had something like this before. Like, be careful, please, and whatever. And she just went ham on my tricep. Like the worst thing you could possibly do, it's muscle treatment for nerves. Like, putting more pressure on it. Dude, if I could, like, move my arm and, like, still, like, not grip super hard or whatever, like, it's okay, but after the session with her, bro, my arm was like this.
Fully done.
Dead. Like, dude, I would pick up something to drink, my arm would, like, go like this. Like, I couldn't do nothing. Dude, like, the worst feeling ever. Like, it was dead. And, dude, I get in my car, and I'm freaking out. I'm pissed off, freaking out, like, and I just, Carl Erickson, like, one guy that rides at OWC and, also rides on the boat. Cool guy. He has a business that does, MRIs and stuff like that. So I call him up, and he's just super nice. He's like, yeah, come in tomorrow. We'll get you in and everything. And in the meantime, I'm texting Red Bull. I'm like, hey, guys, like, something is wrong with my arm. I'm going to be sending you guys some pictures. You think at the APC, at the Athlete Performance Center, you guys can get him checked out by the doctor and see what's wrong, right? So they did that. And then Carl said, he was like, oh, I had it looked over by some of my guys, and they said there's a little bit of inflammation. But then when I got the email back from Red Bull, they're like, there's a little bit more than just a bit of inflammation here. Like, your radius nerve is going over, like, your plate. And basically what you did, it's like when you were, like, foam rolling, you pushed the nerve onto the plate, and then it got inflamed, like, really bad. It's like, now it's like not reacting. The nerve needs to regenerate a little bit, right? So then I was pretty pissed off, and, like, at this point I couldn't go to Wakefest. I couldn't go to probably compete in the IWWF Worlds in Italy. And, like, that was one of my main goals for the year. And then so I decided to fly back a week early to go see some of the Italian national doctors and stuff like that. And I went, and they're like, dude, like, your radius nerve, it's like had a little bit of a trauma. Like, the only thing that we can do, it's like to even try to even make the contest is do cortisone. And I was like, but the cortisone is, like, not approved by the WADA. So, like, if they catch you that you had cortisone, it's doping, like, you're going to be DQ'd and all this stuff. And I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to get involved with none of this. Like, people saying that, like, I was, like,
trying to cheat
I was trying to cheat or whatever. I was doing whatever. I was willing to do whatever it takes to try to ride. But, like, when the doctor told me that I could sign up, I could sign this paperwork, and I could have sent them in, and potentially I could have rode because I declared that, like, I had an injury, and, like, I had doctors signing it and everything and whatnot. There was a bit of, like, up and downs, and they were like, yeah, we want to make you ride. No, but we don't want to make you ride. And I was like, at the end of the day, I'm like, listen, I'm not riding. I want to stay out of this. I'll be here to support the team, support the kids, but I'm not going to ride, like, because I don't want to just for one stupid mistake or whatever, like,
Yeah, not worth it.
It's not worth it. So I didn't do that. So then I chilled, and after the cortisone, it started getting better. I had to do like a week treatment. So it started getting better. I got at like 60% for the Europeans. I was able to compete in the Europeans. I was able to win that. That was really cool because I was at 60%. I wanted to get back really bad. So it was like, even though it was in one of the major contests, though, it felt good for me.
Yeah.
And then, just from there on, just made a bunch of really good decisions. Went back to Europe for a little bit in November. I went up to train at Red Bull. I went up and got all of my x-rays, everything that I had to get done, because they were like, we want to take that metal piece out of your arm. And I'm like, I want to take it out too. It's like, and basically, bro, like I went up at Red Bull like for a week. They did all the tests and everything. I literally had to go into one clinic one time, and I was in the clinic for 5 minutes. They did the pictures, then the picture were like sent directly to the doctor at Red Bull. Like Red Bull has everything up in Austria. It's insane, like the APC. And then so basically, like I went home, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna let you know when we're gonna do surgery for you. I'm like, all right, so 7-hour drive. Freaking 2 days later, the doctor called me like, yeah, get up here tomorrow. We'll do surgery tomorrow. What do you think? I'm like, all right, tomorrow? Like, all right, I got to drive 7 hours. Let me get together. But like within 2-3 days, boom, nice. inside the operating room, operated by like one of the best surgeon in Austria, like that did so many athletes and whatnot. And 10 days I had the stitches out. And the next day after surgery, I was already in Red Bull working on getting the motion and everything back.
How is it now?
And dude, since I got it out, like there was a couple things that were always like bothering me and stuff like that. Bro, since I took it out, it's been a whole nother ball game.
Metal's gone a lot better.
Metal's gone. No more crazy pain. No nothing. Like I can pull as hard as I want to. When I was doing push-ups, I always get to a point where I was like, it was stinging really bad, and I would lose power. Not happening anymore. Like, dude, like from last year to this year, bro, it's like totally insane difference.
That's good, because I feel like that could have been, I mean, obviously it was bad, the issue with the nerve, but I was just thinking, like, is there an infection in your arm that's all of a sudden now turning into something where you can't move your hand? It's like, ugh. Kind of best case scenario for what it sounds like in terms of being able to rehab it, get the metal out. Now you're kind of good to go.
But dude, like throughout this whole process, so like this arm injury, basically, it was a 2.5 year time to figure it out what actually was wrong with me, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, if I would have known before that it was the metal or something like that, or it came through my head, or like I was working maybe with like a physiotherapist that knew a little bit more things and whatnot, like I could have, get it done way earlier. Yeah. But then it was a 2-year period of time
of just questioning
what's going on. And on top of that, dude, like I had no American insurance, right? So when I'm home rehabbing after I broke my arm, dude, I get a bill from freaking Orlando. I get a bill from Orlando Health of $120,000, and I turned white. I almost fainted. Like I was like, oh God. I was like, oh God. He's like, so you're telling me like now, just because of one stupid decision that I made, everything that I've been saving up for, that I've been putting aside, that I've been doing
royalties
my thing,
are going into account. That's not
good. It's like, and now I got to pay $120,000 for the surgery. And I'm like, dude, I'm freaking out. Like, I'm trying to ask Gunner, like, hey, Gunner, help me out. Like, what do I do here and whatnot? But then when I went back to, like, see my doctor and stuff like that, my doctor was like, hey, don't worry. Like, don't pay it. Don't pay it. Keep going. Tell him, like, that you can't pay it. And work out. A deal will work out. You know what I mean? He was like, just keep not paying, and just say, hey, look, the max I could do is $50,000, right? So
your insurance wouldn't cover it though from Italy?
No, so I had to do this. So basically, I got the bill, whatever. I was talking to this other person in California to try to like, come up with a deal, come up with like, hey, listen, I can't pay it. Let's work out something that the hospital will be happy with, and that I could do, that I could provide. And thankfully I was with Red Bull, and Red Bull has like a athlete insurance that it maxed out at 30,000. As soon as I sent everything, like, dude, 3 days I had 30,000 in the account to start paying for this. And we were able to close at 50,000 with the hospital. So I had to write them a check for 50,000. Thankfully, Red Bull's insurance came through. And then when I went back to Italy, I had to bring all this stuff. And thankfully, my mom and dad have a really good friend, Gigi, that he works for Unipol site, which is like a huge European insurance company. And basically, my insurance that was under the federation, it was under Unipol side. So my buddy's the boss, so he just kind of like helped me out so much, and he was able to give me the other money that I paid out of my pocket. So I was able to like, kind of break even. But dude, for stressful. Like super stressful. Like I had no idea what to do. Like it's like, bro, this is my first time like something like this happens, and
wow.
It was pretty crazy. If you're a kid, that you think that, to make a career, like, all you got to do, it's like, just ride good and just do this. And, it's not just that. There's so many other things and so many other factors that is like, if I would have not been so stupid and, and not be so like, I have to prove this. I have to like make sure that everybody thinks that it was the right call to be the rider of the year and whatnot. Like, I should have let all that aside. I was like, I was at a gnarly spot. Clip first tee, get out of there. First try, fresh go clip,
so
get out of there.
Let's talk about the clip then, because I haven't seen it.
I know.
So dude, where is it, Massi?
You were telling
Cole,
me.
Where is it, Cole?
Dude, you want to see them? I got some messages in the group, dude. In the citrus group, like Dami was like, today's like, so when are we coming out, by 2027 or what? Like, I mean,
20-year project.
I mean, Cole does have a lot on his plate. He's got to do so much, right?
For sure, yeah.
But I'm like, dude, let's just get it out. Like, I just wanted to get it out.
Is it clipped up? I mean, is there enough clips in it for a project to come out?
There's way more than enough clip for a project to be out.
We got some Blake Bishop clips in there that need.
Yeah, we got. Yeah, exactly. And dude, that's what I'm saying. It's just we want to put it. I want to put it out. We're definitely like missing like a couple like intro things or whatever. But I'm like, Cole, like let's just get it together, put it out, and I think like the people need to see this. Like, there's some insane writing in there, especially like from Dom. That Dom is just like, bro, if we're not gonna put it out, give me all the clips, because nobody has seen what I've done in America for the past like
I know, dude,
like 7 years. Like it's almost 7 years now, because like, dude, it's pretty crazy.
It was being hyped up for a while, and I feel like everyone was getting excited, and like we were getting teasers and stuff. And it's like, I know Cole's busy, and like, but
I did get hurt 2 times throughout the thing. But I'm like, dude, just put it out. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like,
chop it up if you need to.
Just chop it up. You know what I mean? It's
around,
like, and then I was like, it needs to come out, and especially like after a year of like, doing a lot of contests and stuff, like it'd be pretty sick to drop a video also with a couple like of street clips that that I want people to see.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my crash is pretty gnarly in the video too. It's like
it's gotta be, dude.
You'll see the arm like go back in like that. It's kind of crazy, but yeah. It seems like me and Dami and everybody been pushing to get this thing out.
Let's keep pushing.
Yeah,
let's keep pushing.
We need to see it. So in the comments or anything, you guys go flood Cole Vantov's inbox and tell him. Yeah, DM him and tell him that Citrus needs to come out.
Citrus needs to come out. Yeah, maybe I'll get Cole in here, and then we can kind of talk about it, because that'd be a good time. Get Cole in here, and then we can drop the movie. Dude.
No, but that was super funny. But like, you want to know how the idea of Citrus came about?
The name or the movie?
No, the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I don't know.
Dude, literally, Cole just moved here from Atlanta to Orlando, and dude, I'm hanging out with Cole all the time because Cole is just super funny, amazing videographer, like super stoked on everything that he does. He's just really cool human. I love Cole. So then he's staying at Jimmy LaRich's house. So that's how long it is. Jimmy was still in Orlando with his house. Like, Cole was living with Jimmy. And like I used to remember going over to
I
Cole.
think boards were still directional back then, sandal bindings too. I mean,
yeah, and I was like, dude, I'm like, let's do something. Like I think the sport needs like a whole like winch movie and like you know what I mean, and picked it up. But like we were already like, Dommy was already getting clips, Cody was getting clips. Like we were working. We did like a Tampa trip with everybody. Like we were moving, you know, for a while, and then you know obviously it just kind of stopped for a little bit. But then I was like, you know, let's just get it out, and I know that we can make it even more like, oh, we can do a little scene for the intro and this and that and whatnot. But at this point, like, just put it. Let's just
otherwise,
put it
what's
out.
going to happen?
Like, I mean, it's just like, what, we're going to drop a video with boards from 2016. And, you know, it's cool, but it's
kind of sick.
It's kind of sick, but just like, you know what I mean? Like, every single board on the video, it's like from like 4 years ago.
Throwback.
Yeah, it's a throwback.
You got some vintage gear in there.
And like the craziest thing is like, you know, I started riding rails because of Dom Hernler, like Dom and Austin, like, you know,
Austin Pratt.
Yeah. So I mean, I known Dom from the boys' days at the Europeans, like boat Europeans. So Dom used to ride boat back in the day. So I've known him for a while, and then when I, you know, obviously was with Ronix, and I signed with Ronix, and I started riding with Ronix. I always wanted to be like Dom, like, because I thought like the way that he rode, like he pushed it if he had to, if he didn't have to, he did not. Like,
but it looks so good.
It looks so good, and like, you know what I mean. It's like turn on at the right moment, like, you know what I mean. And if you don't need anything crazy, don't do any, like, you know what I mean. It's just too good. You know what I mean? Is the way that he approaches like shoots, videos, whatever, everything that he approaches it with a right mindset. You know what I mean? Like pretty dialed in. And then when we're talking about winch smarter, not harder and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like he's the king of it, because like I've seen him set up some stuff like pretty janky and just, you know, just committing, going, knowing exactly like what to do, when to do it, if it's time to push it or not. Like, that was like a big thing that.
Well, him and Felix, dude, have been winching for a long time. Yeah. They've got to have some of the most. I mean, Raf's got a lot, but like you talk about people who've logged a lot of tricks winching. Those two guys are up there, so they're doing something right. They're
100%. Yeah. And then on top of that, when I got to go on a couple trips with them, and you know, like, see the way you set up, from the way that you, like, you know, set the pulley, the way that, you know, tied the winch, or the way that you look for spots, or like all those things are like pretty important, right? And then now that we're shooting a movie with La Familia, it's cool to like being able to be with the guys. I obviously have a little bit more winching experience, and especially experience with like the guys that know how to do it the right way, right? So like sometimes, like, you know, on a couple trips like this year, like, you know what I mean, we not like you get into it, but like, you know, with the homies, you're like trying to make sure it's like, it's not about, oh, let's go in there, get the clip, like I need to get a clip. It's like, let's do it the right way, in the way that actually works. Because, you know what I mean, there's a couple things like where the pulley is, or where, like, you know, where we got to set up, or the way that you're supposed to set up does a lot. And, you know, if you set up right, you think at every single option, then you go in, and then you might end up with a clip within 2 tries. Yeah. But if you set it up janky and it doesn't work, like you can get broken off. And it's like, you know, maybe you, like, I've gotten broken off. I've gotten sliced up from like literally like falling down and putting my arm down, and there was a tube, like a rusty tube, and it cut me up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many little things, you know, and sometimes it's like, it's really cool that I can actually be around the boys and tell them like, hey guys, we should actually do it this way. But like, not because I got hurt doing some stupid stuff, not thinking. And I don't want this to happen to anybody else.
Yeah, because you want to see clips, and you want to see it done the right way. Because that's the coolest thing about wakeboarding, is getting those winch clips. So you got to kind of slow down a little bit. So it's like it's you know what I mean. And you know, sometimes when you have a crew of like, you know, 8 riders, that they're all like pretty beast, and they all trying to prove themselves. It's like, you know,
it's not easy, but that's what I want to be for the guys,
Yeah.
I want to make sure that,
A bit of wisdom coming in. Dude.
exactly. Like I don't want them to make the same mistakes that I did because I paid for my mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So learn from mine, and we can be all.
So exactly, learn,
yeah.
and then if it happens, obviously, shit, it happens. You can't like control everything.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that I care about doing, and I care about my friends, and I care about like the people that I ride with, and and if I could provide something intelligent and good to do, and that I know how to do, it's important.
Absolutely. So you just touched on La Familia, the movie. So I talked to Ty when he came in a while ago, and he was saying you guys hadn't stacked any clips yet, but that was midsummer. So how's it looking?
So the concept that we got going on, it's really cool.
Yeah, run through the whole thing because I think it was still in early stages.
So we're still in the early stages. We had one full trip, like we had one full Italy trip. Like it was supposed to be 2 weeks. It got cut down to 1 week because Pro Tour moved their last final stop. So we had to change the dates, and everybody else had Double or Nothing. So between the last Pro Tour and Double or Nothing, like the guys got to come over to Italy, and we rode in my hometown and stuff like that. Like the goal is to like kind of touch base at everybody's
home spot,
man. Like that's where it all like happened for each one of us. That's where we all started, and I think taking it back to the roots, it's really cool. And so yeah, that's a little bit the idea around it. Yeah, the idea around it, and obviously we want to keep doing all the like episodes that like kind of like lead into like make you understand that we're filming a movie that like kind of takes you through a journey.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day will be the movie. And yeah, dude, I'm super stoked. Like we actually the Italy trip went super good.
You got
like
clipped up?
We clipped up.
Okay.
We clipped up like on the boat, dude. In one day, 20 clips in one day.
We got any MBDs?
MBDs we grab like
Hey, MBDs.
You know, like MBDs? not like MBDs like tricks.
Like
never
back 14 or whatever, but like
not like different grabs on like tricks that you may like. We might have put out and stuff like that, but like we got like different grabs, like different like things, and everybody was doing something a little different. So like none of the tricks that we've put out like through our like YouTube channel, like we might have clipped up with like the same trick, but at least like a different grab or something like that like, you know what I mean? That
yeah,
like we haven't put out yet. Like, you know, so it was really cool. It's tough because you obviously don't have that many tricks, but obviously in Italy it's more expensive to ride and stuff like that. And like the wake was good, but we didn't have like the size wake as like usually here in Orlando. You know what I mean? So like we focus more on like, you know, when you go to Italy, you want to focus more on the beauty of the location and make sure that even if somebody does a 12 in Italy, like 12 no grab is like, yeah, it's a good trick, but like, does it kind of matches with the surrounding and like harmonious and like beautiful, like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's also like kind of, you know, important when you're doing a movie. You just kind of like find out the location. Obviously the Hammer's location, I think it will be the Orlando one. Just because, you know what I mean? Every summer we're here, everybody's riding together, we're getting clips. So like, obviously when you're riding with everybody in Orlando, big wake, whatever, like a lot of big things are going to come out here. But no, it was really cool. We were literally grinding. Like we did 1 week. We rode so much. We were getting up early, doing a boat session, then eat quick lunch, go and hit a spot, come back, and whoever didn't hit a spot, hit a spot, and then we come back and ride again in the evening. Like, so literally, like, you know what I mean? Some people might have, you know what I mean? Whoever hit the spot or whatever, like, it might not ride the evening sesh.
Yeah.
But we were pretty productive. We, like, made it to, like, you know, ride in the morning spot, ride again. Ride in the morning spot, you know. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. So it was also like the first time that we were, all together, like filming for something pretty big. You know what I mean? And obviously you have 8 riders, and these 8 riders, like, they all want to do the best they can, right? So it's like, obviously you want to do your best all the time, but like, sometimes it's like, you got Sam like busting out crazy stuff. You got Luca, busting out his stuff like super steezy and whatever. You got Ty just, you know what I mean? You got Ulf riding his way. You got, like, we focused a lot on like some good, solid tricks that are like nice to watch.
Perfect.
And, you know
what
I mean?
People want to see, I think, too.
Exactly. But then, like, obviously we're gonna probably have like a Lake Roanoke section, obviously the Orlando section. Planning to go to Australia. That's a big one for a trip.
It's far away.
It's far away, and yeah, we're trying to, Sam Brown's got to.
Well, there's some contests over there, right? So
Yeah. We got we got
contest.
Moomba and stuff, so we're gonna go hang out at Sam Brown's place. He's actually, like, last year we went and hang out at his place, and he's got perfectly fine 2.0 in his backyard that he wanted to sell, and I'm like, no. Before you
Not
sell,
yet.
no. It's like, before you sell that thing,
We're going to get clipped up on it.
he's like, we're gonna get clipped up on it. We're bringing a squad here next year after Moomba. We're building like stuff, and let's do it. It's like, it's too easy not to,
Yeah.
and so, and that'll be cool. Like, I'm the most excited I am. It's probably for Josh and Brandon.
Really?
Yeah, I want them. Like, I'm excited for them, man, and because I feel like they haven't been able to be part of something like a big movie or something yet, and I think they are the trappers of rail riding. Like, they trap. Like, you can't tell me that they're not trappers. Like,
Tell me what trap means, and I can tell you if they're trappers or not.
trap. Like, dude, come on. You know what I mean? Almost if, like, the music, you know what I mean? Like, you know how you trapping, you know what I mean? Like, they find any piece of plastic where they can put their board on, like, even if it's this much, that much, you know what I mean? Like, they're really jibbers, like, huge jibbing, like,
And they're getting out in the streets?
Oh yeah, they gotta get.
That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah. They've been getting in the streets. Yeah.
Okay.
Josh got a clip. Ulf got an insane clip. Ulf just Ulf got a fucked up. Like,
Building the hype for this one, dude.
Yeah.
And when are we thinking this is? I mean, you probably don't have an
hopefully,
idea yet,
like, we don't have an idea, but we are hoping that, like, by this time next year, we pretty much have kind of like most of the clips,
and
then we got most of the clips and stuff like that, and then
time to put together.
And then obviously from there on, like, if you have every clip, movies, like, kind of getting together, and then obviously start probably working on like some movie merch, some stuff like that. Like, try to do it the right way, and obviously the premiere, if it's gonna happen, because now that I can't be saying, like, if it, like, now that I've been saying citrus, it hasn't even came out.
On this one.
You know what I mean? I might be scarred for life that every movie that I'm in, it doesn't come out. But no,
you'll have the most clips that no one's ever seen before.
Yeah, exactly. But no, but it should be pretty fun. I think we want to do it in a cool, fun way, and honestly, we just want to unite the sport. Like, that's, I feel like, what we need.
Well, hitting all terrain is what you guys are doing.
Yeah, but we need to, like, unite all the sport in the sense that, like, I would love to see more contests where we ride boat and cable in the same spot or whatever. Like, just the industry's small. Like, let's be together. Let's let it needs it.
100%. Before I want to talk about that in a second, but what does Giza mean?
A geezer. Giza, Luca says basically it's like an old man, like a Giza.
Is that
like
an
old, like a matured man? Like, what up, Giza?
Okay.
Like, yeah, Luca is the main geezer.
He's the main Giza.
Yeah,
I get down with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of, you were just talking about combining cable in boat contests. You're one of the few riders that you can think of nowadays that really pursues all aspects of the sport, boat, cable, and winch. Maybe not as much winch recently, but you've got your hand in a lot of it, like you did unlocking the Netherlands, which we can talk about a little bit. But why do you think it's important for a rider like you to, or anyone to, kind of, like you said, the sport's small, do all of them? Why do you think it's important?
It all started like, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Like, I never gave myself too much. Oh, that was good. Oh yeah, that was. It's like I'm always looking for the next thing, and like every time that like I do something cool or something fun, it's like yeah, that was good. Or maybe like for example, Wake the City. Every time that like I worked so hard to make it happen, after and like during it, I'm doing an interview here, doing this and that, and like. At the beginning, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much stuff to do. But then when you're done and you have some downtime, that's when I'm like, dude, I wish I could be working like Wake the City every day, just because that makes me feel accomplished, right? So there was one turning point in my life, I guess, where I was like really like, obviously I was trying to ride rails, I was trying to winch, I was trying to like I wanted to do like, instead of doing like one thing like super good, like, I just ride boat and this is what I do and stick to that. It was more of like, I know my spot in the industry. Like, I know that if I can do a trick in a different way or a new trick every year, like different, just outside the box or something, I should be happy, because that's where I want to be. I want to create new ways of doing things and not the same way, right? But then I also wanted to be really good with sponsors, that every sponsor, do always more than you're asked for every sponsor, because it's important. And then I also wanted to ride cable and I wanted to ride winch. Why? Because if a company needs to sponsor two guys, one boat guy, one cable guy, or whatever, like, you know what I mean? They're gonna have to spend for two people. They're gonna have to pay two people. But if you can do boat, cable, winch, why like it kind of like, why would I sign three people?
It puts you that much higher than all the other guys
like,
that are just doing the one thing.
That's my thought, like, that I had. It's just like, if I can bring more to the plate, if I can ride boat, ride rails, ride winch, my sponsor can take me to a boat show and I'm pretty good at like, selling stuff, and I'm like, also got a personality that like, it's good for people, getting people closer to sport, that, you know what I mean? Like, if you can check all the boxes, then it's going to be a no-brainer for a sponsor to like not pick you up, right?
Yeah.
But I always looked at it like, I've always like, when you're around other riders or something, sometimes you're like, oh, you're so lucky that you have this, or you're so lucky that you're with them, or... And to me, one thing that always got me fired up, and I'm like, if he's getting this deal, that means that I could be getting this deal too. Like, it's not because he's special. It's like, that means like we're in the same sport. Like, you got this going? I was like, then maybe if I work hard and do it the right way, then I could get like, maybe not the same sponsor, another sponsor, but I could get the same deal. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, like, one thing that I don't want to cut off at all, it's like, I'm from Italy. Italy's small. It's not huge, right? America is humongous, right? And if I'm doing a weird sport in Italy, in a smaller country, it's easier to be known. It's easier to get known, and like, you probably achieved some stuff that like, not many other people in your country has achieved. So then like, you have a chance to shine a little bit better. And like, if you work really good with also like a little bit of a manager or something, like, you can start getting smaller deals that might be even just like, maybe a company wants to come and be like, oh, I want to, I see you're an athlete, I want to give you this superfood sponsor, like whatever, like, I want to do a deal where you do 3 Instagram posts and 4 stories, and I'll pay you $3,000, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll start doing it. But then like, we start talking, and I like the brand. I really love like the food that you make or whatever you want to do. And then I come at you with like other pitch ideas or whatever. And next thing you know, maybe you take them out on the boat and then they freaking love the sport. Next thing you know, you might have a contract for a full year. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm try to go and work in every, try to
you want to do it all.
Yeah. Do it all. And I'm like, obviously I love America. I don't want to go away from America anytime soon. But like when I'm in Italy, I do a lot of cool things that I'm like super hyped on, because when I go back is like, I'm the I'm the wakeboarder guy or whatever, and maybe here, like if I'm like the wakeboarder guy and I go ask somebody if I can get some magic tickets, it'd be like, who are you? Like, we don't care. Like, we don't care what you do, who you are. Like, you're not big enough or whatever, But like in Europe and stuff like that, like it's, you have that chance to like grow your brand also over there. And like, I know where I'm coming from. I know where I'm from. And like, I just want to keep trying to push the sport also at home, because that's where it all started for me. And if I can make just even one kid get stoked that now with all the social media and the way that we're moving, he can stay at home, train at home, and actually make it into the sport, it's huge. It's amazing. Like that's all I want to do. I want to motivate the kids and the younger generation from my country to, if they want to do it and they put in the work, they could do it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are always, the Red Bull hat or helmet is definitely one of those things where it's like, well, why does he have the Red Bull? Why is he on Red Bull?
Yeah.
Why is he on Red Bull? It's like, well, look at where he's from. Why, look at his area that he's coming from. Is he the guy for that area?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, guess what? America's huge. There's a lot of guys in America that could beat the guy. There's not going to be 100 of them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's weird to compare in terms of like opportunities and stuff, but it sounds like what you're saying is just always be involved and always look for that next thing, always do stuff.
But then also, like, I'm signed by Red Bull Italy. And then, as I told you, we were talking earlier, huge shout out to Philippe Zarif, because he's literally killing it for Red Bull America. Obviously, dude, like, I was not even, like, I was not even getting noticed or even got picked to like go do this little activity in Florida for Red Bull or whatever at the time. And then since Philippe got on, he like literally like put wakeboarding like in front of like all the big people's faces. Like, now in Miami, Red Bull's got Jimmy that takes
Jimmy
people,
LaRich, yep.
Jimmy LaRich that takes people out on the boat with the Red Bull logo. And basically now when Red Bull has any people, no matter how important they are or whatever, in Miami, they're going to go out on the boat. Like, they provide a service where they put them, like, in the boat to wakeboard or wake surf or whatever it is. So, like, basically, like, all these big people are being in contact with the sport a lot more. And it's super important, right? And, like, that was another big thing that I wanted to do at a point in my career where I'm like, dude, I just want to be able to do stuff with Red Bull Italy and Red Bull America, and they're on the same page that they want me at these events and they want me at that events. Like, I want to just, like, if I'm here and I could, like, even if I got to drive 3 hours to Miami for, like, a small event or whatever, like, if I'm a help for them, I want to be the help. I want to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, like, it's like, please use me. I'm here. Like, you know what I mean? It's a no-brainer that I'm here and you're not going to, like, even, like, send me a text that this is going on or whatever. Like, just, I always want to unite like the two
Mr.
things.
Worldwide.
But yeah, like Pitbull, right? but yeah, honestly, I have to do a lot of things for Red Bull Italy. Like, I have to be in my own country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't just like, sign with Red Bull Italy and then you just stay the whole time in America and you don't do nothing for the brand in Italy. So that's another thing that, like, I'm so glad actually that I'm with Red Bull Italy, because I did realize that what I want to do is try to grow the sport also at home. And, like, they're a huge platform to have me do that, and we work together really cool. So that's another thing that was pretty big. But I definitely have a feeling that wakeboarding is growing. It's definitely growing. And yeah, man, like, huge shout out to everybody that, keep loving the sport and grinds to like try to, grow it.
Absolutely. I mean, me and you were talking, I feel like a lot of people are thinking, oh, wakeboarding, wake surfing, wakeboarding's on the decline. It's like, I don't know, wakeboarding is still very much so alive. And like, you get people all over the world that are seeing growth in the sport and getting more people into it. And there's people in the right places that are making the right moves. Like this guy at Red Bull who's getting more people on the boat, experiencing wakeboarding. Like, all those little pieces are huge.
For sure.
In any action sport, wakeboarding, is a little bit tougher because you got to have a boat or a cable, but it's good to hear that that's kind of how things are going. Got Got a Patreon question. You want to say something?
No, yeah, I was just gonna say I think like contests are a little bit on a decline, and the sport is on the way up. That's the way I look at it.
That's the vibe you're getting?
The vibe is like I think that every center, wakeboarding center or whatever, is doing more people coming to ride and try out the sport, and like they're doing a lot of tickets, but like obviously the contest part of it, we don't have the X Games. We don't have, like, look at the X Games. The X Games turned into a music festival.
This last year you watched summer or winter X Games?
Oh yeah, dude.
Terrible. I mean, the
dude,
riding was sick, obviously, but like the event itself is nowhere near what X Games used to be.
No, exactly. But like, you know what I mean? They made a transition at one point. They were like, okay, if we just do the contest here, and don't put any other fun activities to do, like nobody's gonna show up. And now you see that, like, you know, they even had Young Gravy in the building.
I don't know about that.
You know what I mean? No, I'm just joking. But you know,
they're doing other stuff.
It's funny,
acts,
man.
like,
you know, but
huge
they're bringing some other entertainment that people can, you know, drink, listen to music, and watch some good stuff going down. And just like, I mean, look at Zeb Powell. Zeb Powell, perfect example of, like, you know, amazing rider, super creative, not necessarily the triple cork, whatever type rider. X Games made a cool, fun contest like Knuckle Huck. They mainstreamed it. And that was the perfect platform for Zeb to, like, come in and, you know, take over. And look how big.
I don't know the numbers, but like, is it more popular and cooler than the other ones? Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, somebody does a triple cork or whatever, and, like, you know, cool. Like, somebody doesn't even know what he's doing. And then somebody does, like, a coffin slide backflip to over method, like, you know, to method, like, you know, just whatever. Like, that's cool. Like, you need, no way. Maybe if I could train, I could kind of try some stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's more relatable for, like, people that actually do the sport, right? You know, a knuckle huck, like, you much rather do a knuckle huck than hit a, like, you know, 70-foot jump.
Well, everybody's got a knuckle at their hill, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, it's
so, you know, and Zeb, like, you know, super amazing street rider, and, you know,
great wakeboarder too.
And dude, it's so awesome to see that, like, you know, it's not all about, like, who can do this or that. And, like, I look at Zeb as, like, he's a marketing machine. It's like, you put him everywhere, he shines.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And like, you ain't got to be able to do a, you know, 19 or,
and that's the cool thing about action sports too, right? It's not about who can score the most points or who can do the most spins and flips. It's like, there's these avenues for guys like Zeb or like street guys or whatever to do something that transcends the sport and people think are cool. And it's like, you didn't do a triple, but guess what?
And dude, that's amazing. It brings more people to the sport. It brings more people that are not going to be like, oh, I just want to do what they do in slope style. No, it's like, it brings, like, you know, it teaches the kids that they could go whatever direction they want to go.
Yeah, your average
you
dude
know what I
can
mean?
do whatever. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's super important because, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, Zeb's been doing tricks and things on rails, off rails, with a style that, like, you know, you don't see every day.
And it just puts a smile on your face.
And
how can you watch Zeb, like, guy like Zeb, and just not smile?
Exactly.
Like, he kills it. All right, so I think we shift into a Patreon question from Patrick Sinner.
Oh yeah, Patty.
So he says, Massey, what's your favorite RXT boot of all time?
Man, favorite RXT boots of all time, I would have to go with the Red Bull collab. I would have to go with that because
run us through that. Yeah,
it was pretty tough.
I was gonna ask.
Huge shout out to Hayes Willis and Patrick and Paul O'Brien, obviously, for, you know, getting everything going. And so the idea kind of came like, oh, let's do maybe a life jacket or maybe like a boot, like, we know, with a Red Bull logo. What do you guys think if we send it, you know, to the guys and figure it out if they like it or not? So I guess they made the first kind of concept, and you know, Hayes was like, oh, this is cool. But, like, dude, Rebel has never done a collaboration where they put their logo and somebody else is gonna sell the product and like they're not gonna put their logo and sell the product. Like that's they
You don't
just,
see it.
They just don't do it. Like I think they did it with like Travis Pastrana for like one like t-shirt drop or something like that, but they don't usually put their logo and let somebody else sell. The contract that Patrick had to go through and sign, I think it was like this big. Like something crazy. And huge shout out to Hayes Willis, because Hayes really was pushing over in Austria for like, you know, making sure that this was happening and whatnot. And when they gave us the green light, like.
How many designs do you think you guys went through?
All right, mate. So, okay, I was going, I had a guy in Italy that is my buddy Pepe, and he's such a sick designer. And we had a couple cool little graphics that it was me, like my actual Instagram, like, profile pic. It's like the skull and whatever. Like at the beginning was supposed to be that, like, or something like a little bit more aggressive, but we couldn't come to conclusion because there was a little bit too aggressive and the skull or whatever. So like we kind of, you know, knew that the RXT consumer, it's more somebody that likes their board nice and clean, smooth, and you know that it's got like that good like kind of like Ferrari look, and you know, and so basically, we went with something a little bit more simple, but I think it was something really cool that the sport needed. We did like a super fun party to release the boot, and we got together, and you know, being able to pull something like that off, it's something that, you know, I'll never forget. You know.
Well, especially for kids, I feel like if you're a kid in action sports, you always see the energy drink company as like, oh, it'd be cool to wear, like, you know, to be on the team, and like you're never gonna get a product, an actual board product that has the Red Bull thing on it. But like you were saying, it's very rare. So it's like super rare for that to happen, but it's cool. I'm sure a lot of kids were stoked.
That's another cool thing. The kids were like super stoked, and it makes me pump when I see even like 2 years later, like, or a year and a half later, that some kids are still rocking them. They just love them. Yeah. You know, and that was really cool, and that's as I said, something that I'll remember forever. Just, you know, just being able. That's why I got one pair of freshies like that.
With the pin, you still got the pin.
You know, still got the pin and everything. So
all right, let's talk some. We're talking gear. So what's your board size, stance, rope length, speed, all that shit you ride?
All right, for the bow, I ride a 140 RXD with size 9 boots, and for the 2024, we added one extra hole. So before it was only 3. So now we added 4. And basically the 4th one, like I used to ride all the way in on the current one, on the 2023. And on the 2024, I ride one out because it's a tiny bit wider than all the way in on this year's board. And I think I like it better a little bit wider because, you know, sometimes like when I get the grabs and stuff, like I get close to the boot, and I don't like that. So, but like
a little more wiggle room.
Yeah, but I do like a little bit of a skinnier stance, a little better for like landings and stuff like that. So
one out.
So yeah, one out.
And then what angles are you rocking?
I'm rocking 15-15.
Okay.
And on the cable, I change it up. Like I ride a kinetic. And I ride it all the way in the front, one out in the back, like a little bit directional kind of.
That's backwards directional, right? All the way in the front? Or you goofy?
No, I got a shorter tail.
Okay, shorter tail.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then what rope length and speed on the boat?
Rope length, I ride it like 77. Because it's a little longer than 75, and then I go like 22.2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then what boat do you got?
I got a Malibu M240.
Is that what's the new big one?
Oh, the M242, man. That thing is
okay.
It's awesome. It's really cool because I've always said, you know, like Malibu has got such a good wake transition. You know what I mean? And it's whenever you land, you have so much room to make it down the tranny. And then while, you know, in some other wakes, you know, you get such a big kick, but like, you know, the space to land, it's not much. So I feel like this new boat is the perfect, you know, it unites everything. It's like, it's got that big kick that you want, but also it's got so much landing.
You got a bigger landing ramp.
Yeah, bigger landing ramp, more transition. So yeah, I'm super stoked.
Ulf doesn't need that landing ramp, though.
No, Ulf doesn't need it. He just goes straight to the flats.
He just needs a one-wake boat. Dude.
Exactly. No, yeah, Wolfie this year is like probably one of the guys that I'm the most proud of. Like he really like, turned it up, stepped it up. Like this year, like, totally found his way of riding that is standing out like crazy. And I'm super happy that he's been able to do it. He's been a phenomenal rider for a long time, especially Kai and Wolf. You don't see it very much, but like they rip on the cable because they got their own cable down in Argentina. They got it going on, and they're like some of the hardest working dudes ever. Like I'm telling you, like if we got to go move rails, move things, they'll show up barefoot. They'll jump in with whatever they got on. They'll get it done. So like they're hard working dudes, and I'm obviously Kai had that big Wakefest win, and he was already a little bit more established in the contest side of things. And this year, Wolf like totally like just changes riding in contest. Like you could tell that he's going nuts. He's going huge, sending and like being more consistent than when he does like wake to wake stuff, just because he loves it. He wants to do it, and like, dude, it's so sick to see this.
Speaking of guys who get me in, I was gonna ask who gets you most hyped on wakeboarding right now, park and boat.
Ooh, that's a tough question.
You don't have to limit it to
no,
one person. You can do a couple if you
yeah,
want.
for sure. I've been, obviously the guys, all the La Familia guys they're awesome. I love riding with them. It's we push each other. It's great. Ty is insane. Sammy B, absolute filthy animal. You know what I mean? Like that
disgusting.
thing. He just can move his leg whatever he wants, and he's got like such a sick personality too. He's just funny. Kai, Ulf, all the guys obviously.
All right, outside of La Familia.
Outside of La Familia, I'm super hyped on. Obviously, my favorite rider, one of my favorite riders of all time is Aaron Rathy. Yeah, I think like Aaron Rathy, it's nasty. Dude, like another kid that gets me like super stoked is there's a couple Italian kids that they're ripping, Federico and Stefano, they're ripping. They're getting technical. But I mean, style-wise, Cheyenne, the Japanese kid, Cheyenne Takawa, dude, that kid's got some 60s, grabs everything super dope, and there's a lot of people that I'm like pretty stoked on. Even like Jamie User, just signed with Red Bull. They actually asked me about him, and I was like, yeah, guys, this kid is gonna be really cool. Green light, so he's ripping. Max from France, Maxime Roux. I think he's one of my favorite all around right now. Or like him, like Cam, like Max can rip cable as well. Like, it's pretty cool to see, just being another cool friendship that I'm really stoked in the wakeboarding industry. Like Camille and Max, Max is better on the boat. Camille's better on the cable, but they they're such good friends, and they both, bring a lot of good stuff together, and I'm really stoked on them.
Damn, that's a lot of good names right there.
Yeah, obviously,
I like it.
Yeah. Obviously, like, Pedro is super nasty. Like another guy that I really like, Connie, he's ripping. Like, I mean, Cross, like how can you forget Cross? Like Cross is absolutely dirty.
I get a lot of people come in here and I ask them who gets them stoked. They give it a couple names, but you can tell Massey's plugged in, dude. You're plugged in.
Dude, like, I mean, it's like...
You love it.
How can you not? Like, how can you not? There's so many people doing so many good things. Like, the Space Mob crew, the boys, like, they're running such a cool operation up there, man. Like, it's so sick. It just brings people close. Like, it gives them something to relate, and... It's just so good. We need more people to drive, more kids and fans towards the right direction. Like,
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty amazing. Like I got to like another like Enzo Asaraf, like another super sick rider. Jules, like, or Hervé is insane. He just did the unofficial over in France.
Yeah.
And like, dude, like Hervé is insane, super steezy, like, you know, like, and that's another cool like concept that of a competition that we did, like the unofficial, like Hervey literally had the guy like closed up the cable, everybody showed up in vans, he had like, you know, tents out, like we were literally get into shred the 2.0 with like a whole crew of really good riders, right? And just have a good time. And then one night we went to the skate party in Bordeaux. The next night we did like a little party over at the cable. And like, you know, we did the best line contest. And then, you know, it was just really fun and cool. And there's so many people that deserve a lot in wakeboarding, I think. It's just like, you know, obviously like the sport ain't so big. We don't have as much money, but like, you know what I mean? There's so many people that deserve, you know, to be paid and to be taken care of the way it's supposed to, and they're not. And, you know, that actually hurts me because it's like, dude, it's like, when are we gonna when are we gonna take care of these people? Like when are like, you know, like they're putting in so much time and effort, they're doing so many good things, and it's like, just because they live outside the US doesn't mean that they can do good stuff or they can do their own shit. Like everybody in Europe now, like, have their own basically filmer or friends that put everything together. Like you can tell them, you know, put together a little something.
Yeah, it's not like it was 20 years ago, right? Like,
it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's just put together something, and like, you know, I think we could use so much more our European riders, and, you know, especially on the cable side of things, man. Like especially on the cable side of things, like I see like sometimes how much prize money is in cable, and like kind of hurts. Like, you know, I mean, at least there should be at least 6 bands for like 6,000 at least for the first place or something. Like,
how do you think we get there?
It's just like,
how do you think we get there?
I think just, you know, travel more probably. Like, I don't know, like travel more as a group, you know, like I feel like if, for example, Ronix did like a European tour, or like an Asia tour or an Australia tour, where we go out our way to like literally like please the dealers and all the people that like, you know, we've been in the States forever. I can't tell you last time that like I would love to get a group of riders from Ronix, Liquid, or whatever it is. Like, you know, I wish the brands, they'd be like, okay, we're going on a world tour. We're doing Australia, we're doing Asia, we're doing Europe. And like, we're going to stop by every single cable, every single dealer. We got to put more attention to them as well. And like, you know, have you guys in Europe for like 2 weeks in order to help the dealers get rid of their boards, do like little events and be around kids. And
that's what makes it real.
That's what makes it real too. Like, and you know what I mean? Like, if you look at it, the skate drop-in tour, like they've been, you know, they started in Florida with the first one, and now they do it in, you know, they do a America tour, they do an Australia tour, like they're doing an Asia tour, like, you know what I mean? We gotta get the people and the riders to whoever supports them and really loves them. Like, you know what I mean? You can't just cut out Australia or cut out Europe, that they're two are the, or Asia, that two are the biggest, you know, some of the biggest, you know, places.
That's where a lot of people are riding.
Where there are a lot of people riding, and you know what I mean?
There, yeah.
I feel like that's what it needs, like, you know, utilize a little bit more for your marketing. That would help bring it together, too, like, right? You know what I mean? Like, kind of utilize a lot more the riders and the boards and boots and things marketing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, for example, with the RXT, like, I would love to do like you know, obviously, like, you know, I would love to, like, you know, do like a little tour, or like, you know, like even myself, like just to go around or whatever. But, you know, I feel like
there's only so many Massis. I mean, there's only one Massi in a lot.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's like, I don't want to do it by myself. Like, I want to do it with the whole team. Like, because I think the team needs to be all together, like, all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, X Games, Red Bull, every Red Bull athlete has got Red Bull's got a house where every athlete is there. They're all together. They're, like, bringing their people that do content things, whatever, like, you know, and they're always doing something. They're more like a family and stuff like that. Like, we're lucky to have, like, Ronix, because that spot is just amazing. You know, where like we feel like a family out there, but I definitely think that we would have to travel a lot more with the team, with the people, go meet our distributors, and like really give all of our distributor more time to like be like, hey, the guys actually, you know, the guys in America are actually like, you know, trying to help us sell more product by sending the team out here, by sending the people, and then, you know, give away boards and, you know, just let people spend time on the boards. You know, I think that's,
get people stoked, get people into it.
I think.
Do you think that's in the plans? I mean, for you in the coming future, couple of years here with some brands to go.
Yeah, I mean,
do more of that stuff. Or?
Hopefully, yeah. You know, I try to get out for boat shows and stuff. Like I've been coming back like all the time for like boat shows and stuff like that. That's kind of cool. Like, you know, obviously it's different than your type of like work on the water, but you got to be able to talk about your product. You got to be able to see the people that are buying the product. And like, you know, what I tell people at boat show most of the time is like, dude, I'm not here to like sell you something. This is what I do. And it's like, I'm here to like point you towards the right direction on a board that you telling me right now on 2 feet. You telling me that you're at this level and I could probably put you on the right board that would work for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because, you know, I spend
the best sale is an honest sale, right? Just be honest with the guy, hang out with him. Oh, what do you need? I'm not trying to push this product on you that you don't need. Just this is what works for you. So get this, and you're gonna be way more happy with it. I say we talk some videos. I think that's good. We talked Citrus a little bit. We talked La Familia Movie, but let's talk about some clips that we can see that have been out there before. So I think we start with Caro, Italia.
Caro, Italia. That was
pretty close.
Yeah, that was
that wasn't close at all.
That was a cool project, man. It was through around like the second COVID like area, the second COVID
like the wave or whatever
infestation, and no, but it was kind of cool. Like I knew that I wanted to go back home for a little bit and spend some time with the family because, you know, stuff was starting to get a little bit locked up, and after the summer of the first wave of COVID, and you know. It was a long season, and I just gotten back from breaking my arm. So, like, you know, it was tough. And then I decided, like, I'm going to go home, chill. And then I got home. The next day I showed up at a cable. Space tapes was a thing. I had a bunch of the homies in Italy, and I was like, fuck, it'd be kind of cool that, like, the guys – you know, the Space Mob crew and whatever, the boys, like, kind of know me, like, because, you know, I go up to the park sometimes, you know, we know each other, they're great people. And I was like, how sick would it be if we have a whole Italian, like, team with a bunch of good riders from Italy, and we just, you know, film our own thing, and, like, maybe just because they know me, like, and the boys that they fucking rip, like, they get noticed even more just because, like,
I can help out.
It'd be really cool. And to do a project with all Italian guys, all in Italy, whatever, it was super sick. So ended up, you know, taking some of the Italian riders, Ricky, Leo, and Mauri. So, and we went and hit a bunch of winch spots. I just had my Red Bull bought me a sculpture. So, yep. So we were just grinding, trying to, you know, we filmed first all the hacks at the cable. And then, you know, obviously got a bunch of clips, and then we're like, as the more we move forward and the more we get strict clips, we start taking out all the cable, like, you know what I mean? Like, you start eliminating some of the, like, easier trick or, like, stuff. Like, you want a little bit of cable. We want to do more winching. And obviously I could try to get, like, I could go on the boat one day. I went on the boat one day with my buddy with a GoPro and a tube, and within one day, we got all the clips that we needed it. But it was really cool because, you know, we got into it. I was able to take all the guys winching in Italy and, like, you know, putting into practice a lot of the things that Dom and Felix, you know, taught me, and being with them. And so, like, we do the space tapes. We're super hyped on how everything comes down. We're, like, realizing that we're the only one thing that we missed. It was one big handrail. So I was like, you know, yeah, we could do it, whatever, like, but it's the last day. Today's the last day that we can get it, like, you know, whatever. So that we wake up super early, we go set up this crazy handrail, and literally Ricky goes to hit it, and the winch just, like, Didn't work. And I was like, all right, well, because we were hitting a spot with Leo the day before, and we were under the rain, and like literally the remote got wet, and so I had to get a new remote. But it was really cool, right? So we didn't get the handrail, but we're still super stoked. We did a ton of winching. Like, I think we showcased like a bunch of really good Italian riders. Mauri's wake skate part was, you know, the rail to rail freaking sex change. Like, dude, Mauri is insane, and it was super cool to like have a whole Italian squad. So we filmed Space Daves. We get fourth. It was super cool, though. We're super hyped on, you know, like the time that we spent together, like the amount of grind that we did or whatever. And then I literally get home and I'm like, all right, perfect. I already didn't want to do Space Daves because, you know what I mean? I just broke my arm winching and did a bunch of winching. I'm super happy on how it went. No big crashes, no nothing. And Dave calls me and he's like, yo, what up, man? Like, I'm thinking of, you know, like I talked to Wakeboarding Magazine, I talked to Ronix, you know, we might be able to get a little bit of budget together and we could film something. And I'm like, wow, I just got done filming the Space Tapes. It was so much like driving by car, so much things. And I was just like, and I see that there's a little bit of a wave of COVID coming. Look like they're going to shut down some stuff. I was like, all right, Dave, get down here, come down. We'll have a good time. So Dave comes, and we like, to just tell you like how the situation was. Like, my uncle has a hotel, just 15 minutes away from my house. Like, for how bad COVID was, like me and Dave got two rooms at like my uncle's hotel. So then we can start filming a little bit on Lake Como and stuff like that. So we started filming a little bit on Lake Como, started getting a couple clips. And then I was like, man, they're going to start closing things down. Like, what if we go down to CNVS in Rome, where I filmed some stuff with Grub and when Garrett shot all the things.
Yeah.
And then what if we go down there and... You know, I know there's a couple like cool little things that we could do. Maybe I'll look at for some spots, maybe around Rome and stuff like that. So then we pick up my car. After like 3 or 4 days shooting in Como, we pick up my car, drive 8 hours. We go down to my buddy's place in Rome and CNVS, and literally like puts us up in his hotel. Food is absolutely phenomenal. As I said, everything made from scratch, like everything like the best quality. And we are hanging out in October, November at this wakeboard school. A couple of my homies from Rome, you know, are just coming up to see me and hang out, watch me ride. And, you know, they bring a bunch of like, you know, their girlfriends and, you know, and the school is basically closed.
Yeah.
It's just for us. It's like, you know, like, yeah, some people come up and ride, but it's more the people that we invite or whatever. So we're like fishing every day and picking up a bunch of stuff and, you know, just filming like in some super smooth conditions. And obviously I had my winch there. So, you know, I was trying to get a little bit of street clips for that too. And, you know, it was fun. Like, it was just a good time. We were supposed to stay down for a week. We ended up staying down there for 2 weeks. My buddy Claudio, that is now the president of the federation, he didn't have us pay for nothing. Nothing. We stayed for 2 weeks. Just had a blast behind their boats, food, accommodation. And
What's the weather like in this October, November?
It was cold. It's down in Rome, so it's a little bit more south, so it's a little bit warmer. But still, we were riding in like full suits and stuff like that. Yeah. And then obviously, I found that big spillway that down in Rome in like this little tiny spot. But it was kind of a mission to get through and. But yeah, anyways, we try to push as much. I wish I had a little bit more winching, but like obviously
you're coming off quite a bit of winching.
Yeah, we're coming off quite a bit of winching, and then also, you know, couldn't like drive to some of the like, you know, more crowded places and stuff like that, just because everything was pretty shut down. And being able to concentrate for like a week and a half, 10 days or whatever, watching like super smooth water every day, and like, you know, you get up at 10, you get down to the dock and you just chill, fish for a little bit, and then whenever you want, you go out, you ride. And especially also having Dave shooting drone, it was so much easier. Like not having two boats, so you only run one boat, you know, and it was really cool. And I worked really good with Dave, and I like the way he operates.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's good.
He's the best. Yeah,
he's insane. But yeah, I took him to a couple of nice little spots in Switzerland. You know, we walk in and there's this super tall lady with giant knockers.
How tall is Dave?
Dave is not very tall. He's like 5. He's like, you know, he's like maybe 5 feet. And so I was like, yo, I'm gonna take you to this spot in Switzerland. It's like it's a little different, you know. But we'll go have a drink. So we show up in this place. We pay $25 to get in. There's this tall lady with humongous knockers, right? Humongous. And he sees Dave come in, and she goes and grabs him and hugs him. And he's like, and she says, "Piccolino, come here." And she's like, "Little guy, come here." And I turn around, and his face is splattered in this chick's knockers, and that was
the last you saw Dave.
That's the last time I saw Dave. No, it was so funny, bro. Like he said, "Hey, little guy, come here," and gets this hug from this pretty tall lady with giant knockers, and he's got his face all in it.
Sure, Dave was loving it.
They was loving it. So no, we had a blast, man. Like as I said, probably going back to Garrett saying wine pong. We didn't play wine pong, but we definitely drank some.
Got after it.
Some good wine up there.
You got a favorite clip from that edit?
I would say that one of my favorite clips was the Switch to 7 overwrapped, just because I've never done it. I hadn't done it before, and I remember just, you know, I was kind of trying to figure it out, and yeah, it just kind of turned out to work out pretty easy. So like that was one of my newest like things that I kind of was kind of stoked on, and I just had fun. You know, the wake, as I said, the wake wasn't humongous. Like it wasn't the same size that like we have it here in Florida, but we were able to do all kinds of tricks that we needed to, and then kind of mixed in with a little bit of, you know, winch clips, and I had a blast.
I like
filming
the
that.
hand plant roll the blind.
Oh yeah, I actually snapped my board on that one.
Really?
Yeah, my board was like actually snapped. It had a bubble in it, and you could tell that like when I land, I kind of do a little bit there.
Okay.
But yeah, and the funniest thing, so my buddy Claudio at this wakeboard school has this guy named Fonzie. He's like this older guy around like 65, 70 years old, and he used to be drinking all the time and not well. And then my buddy Claudio brought him in, had him working for him, and it was so sick, bro. When I was hitting that like the kicker to the barrel or whatever, he was like on land, like making sure that the winch rope wasn't touching any trees or anything, and he was so hyped to be a part of it. And he's just like, dude, I think he showed, like, he always eats at like the restaurant up there and stuff like that, and I think he showed the video to every single person that come to eat there for the past 3 years. And he was like, it would say, "Bella, bro." He would say, "Bella, bro." Like, "Hell yeah, bro." Like, he would just say bro all the time. Like, so, because like Dave was like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" And like, so he was just like stuck. So we would be eating, and you hear him going, bro. And he's just like, he's
hyped on it, dude.
He was so hyped.
He was a part of it, man.
And dude, he had his like, cause he's like one of the helpers for the town. You know, it's a maybe 200 person town, and like, you know, he does a bunch of work for like we call it commune. Yeah, commune. We call it commune, but for like the little city. So he had his bright orange like gear up, like high vis, dude. Yeah. He was just loving it, dude. He was just like, "You ready? You ready?" I was like, "Yeah." It was fun.
All of bro's all about it, dude. I love it.
Bro.
All right, let's talk pizza. We touched on pizza a little bit, but I got some inside knowledge that I was talking to Ruck, and he was just wondering, do all Italians dip pizza in ranch, or is it just you?
Thank you for throwing me under the bus, Rucky. I don't even know if I'll be able to go back to my country now. No, I put ranch on my pizza only on the ones that are really tough to eat, all the oily ones or the big thick ones that are like not good.
We're talking, okay, to get it down.
To get it down. But like the other night, like, you know, I went to Publix and I opened up like the little dough thing, and I put a little dough in my little bin and went home and made me a pizza, and it was nice and simple with a good mozzarella. And honestly, it was fantastic, and I didn't dip it in one bit of ranch.
How often do you eat pizza then?
I like a lot. Yeah, I like a lot. Like if I can, like, and I don't know what to eat, like, I don't know, dude. Like there's something with me and like bread, pizza, pasta, like, you know, all those carbs. Like
big in Italy, dude.
I know it's big, but like, dude, like even at home, like I get full and I can't eat anymore, but I can still crash a loaf of bread because it's so good.
So you're not gluten free?
No,
Never.
no. I mean, not never. I'm not gonna lie. For a while, like when I was over here, I would get some like gluten-free pasta because like in Italy, we are pretty strict on our, like, you know, the products that we get for what we eat. Like it's
We're kind of shit over here.
But dude, it's crazy. Like there's pasta with like 7 different flours, like at home, like, or like, you know, from like the kamut flour to the, like, you know, the 00 flour, the white one that we have. It's terrible for you. It's like, it's not good. It's like, so we have like, I don't know, like everywhere you go, you know, you got different grains, pasta and stuff like that, or like, you know, it's cool. It's I'm just saying, it's just like there's more things, more products that are like more, you know, for a lot of people that, you know, don't eat the flour or whatever. So it's a lot healthier and that doesn't get you bloated, you know.
Okay. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No, absolutely not.
What's the goal? What's the standard of pizza?
I mean, the standard of pizza. Okay, so
If you're going to a restaurant, you're like, hey, I want to judge their pizza. I want to get it. What's the standard?
I mean, dude, the margarita, you can never go wrong. It's just like I like the simple stuff, but you know, pizza with Parma ham and mushrooms, or like, you know, like we have the 4 cheeses, quattro,
That's my favorite.
you know,
Yeah.
4 cheeses. You got, I don't know, like capricciosa that has got like some olives and got some artichokes on, and like, you know, it's just the pepperoni. It's called salame, pizza al salame. Picante is like, you know, if I say pepperoni, it's like I want to buy a pepperoni. It's like I want to buy a bell pepper.
Oh,
Pepperoni is bell pepper.
I thought it was pepperoni.
No, pepperoni, it's salami.
Salami. Okay.
Yeah.
And I like pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, you
That's
could
a
do.
classic.
No, it's like, you know, salame picante is like spicy salami. It's like a pretty big classic in Italy.
Okay.
You know, or like prosciutto e funghi is like mushroom and ham. You know, that's another one that it's like.
Well, that's basically Hawaiian without the pineapple, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. Have you seen, you know, Dave Portnoy, right?
Yep.
Pizza review guy. Have you seen the pizza review he did at Miami Cable Park?
Yes, I did see that.
If you were there, that would have been huge for the sport.
No, you want to hear an even funnier story.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, dude, I was kind of wigged out. I was like, man, this man is like, went after me. All right, so I see Dave Portnoy is in Lake Como. And I just fired up the DM and I was like, bro, like, let me know, like, if you're looking for good places to go, like, I got a good spot for you to go. And like at this point, like, I'm saying, I'm not trying to
Do the review.
I'm not trying to direct him to like, hey, bro, I want you to go do a review at this spot. Like, I'm just saying, like, I also didn't want to say that my family owns a spot because, like, I just didn't want him to go there and like do like, you know, a video. I wasn't trying to get nothing out of it, right?
Sure.
I was just trying to like, hey man, you're in my area. I'll tell you a restaurant where to go eat. So he texts me back. He's like, oh, no way, blah, 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 here and there. Like, super stoked. And I told him, you know, yeah, this place, La Darsena, whatever, it's really good, you know. And I send him the location. I send him the spot, right? And he's like, oh, do they have pizza there? I'm like, no, man, we don't do pizza. But it's a really, really good restaurant, right? It's like, and I want you to go to eat, but I could care less about Dave doing like a review. I just wanted him to go to my restaurant and eat good with his girlfriend. I get a freaking message on Instagram saying that like he went to the Darsana, but it was not that. It was another spot. So as an American, he goes up and looks like Darsana, and there's another place in Como called Darsana, but it was a hole in the wall. It was terrible, right? And like they had like even frozen pizza or some stuff like it not good at all. And he was like, and I was like, bro, you went to the wrong one. I sent you the actual Instagram and location. I know this place is on the other side of the lake, but it's like, trust me, you're in like the cool area where everything, you know, like you want to see, and like Bellagio is like right across. And so basically he puts up on Instagram saying that he listens to Stoolies when he travels because they got the best tips. And he's like, and he goes, this guy, he calls himself the pizza boy, and he sends me to this place where this pizza is absolutely terrible. And he's like, you know, the guy comes up, brings the pizza, and asks me if he wants me to cut it for us. And he's like, already that he's asking this to us, it's like, it's a no-no. And then he's like, said the pizza is absolutely terrible. Review, it's like a 1.2. And I'm never going to talk to this person ever again. And I'm like losing it. And I'm like, bro, you went to the wrong one. I sent you the freaking location. I sent you everything. It's like, in Italy, we're not like a franchise area like America. There's one Chipotle here, there's one Chipotle there. You know what I mean?
They all have different names.
It's like we all have different names. Yeah. And I said, La Darsena, this is our spot. So then I send him the spot, and then he hits me back the next day after he put the video up and absolutely roasted me. Absolutely roasted me.
Did he at you?
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
Oh, no, he didn't at me, I think he just posted the logo of my...
I think I remember this.
He posted the logo of my profile picture and my name.
Yeah.
And I was like... And then he texted me the next day and he goes, I actually made it to your spot, to the spot you were saying, and it met up the expectation.
Wow.
So... And then I never texted him back. And I like, you know, I didn't, and I left, not left him on red, but I'm like, I saw the message and I was like, okay, at least he made it to the spot, and like, you know what I mean? And it was good, but like, I wasn't trying to get any clout or anything out of it. I just really wanted him to go and have a good time at like my family's restaurant. And like, if he would have told me that he was going to, I was going to call up my cousin and say, hey, when this guy comes in, bring my free bottle of wine, I'll pay for it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it was all about like, you know, trying to have him have a good experience, and I turned out to be roasted on the gram. It's
when you get into bed with El Prez, dude, you never know what's gonna happen. So
dude,
you know the guy. You know,
I love everything he does. He's funny. He's super funny, and I love like that he's super like into sports and whatever he does. I'm a big fan, and like
he's a wild card.
It was. I was kind of bummed that like, you know, it's like, dang, like. Maybe my language barrier like messed up a little bit, but then when he went to this spot and then he freaking texts me back and he's like, yo, I actually made it to your spot and met up with your expectations. Then I was like, okay.
All's right. You got to do a pizza review with him.
I know. I would love to.
Because that'd be a great story arc. Because then you could tell that whole story on camera. Like it'd be a whole thing.
No, 100%. And I was like, dude, literally, I was going to Miami for the F1. And I'm like, dude, I'm really hoping that I get to see Portnoy somewhere. Like anywhere. Even better if it's at 11 at the strip club, like, you know, super late at night, because, you know, I'll go up to him and be like, yo, I'm that guy that
pizza boy.
I'm the guy that, like, you know, you're never supposed to talk ever again to. But, you know.
That'd be a good one, dude. I'd love for that to happen.
Yeah, but it was so funny.
Wow, okay. I was wondering if you'd ever had any interaction, and it sounded like that was I thought I remember that. It was so funny.
It was funny.
All right. Speaking of pizza, we got a Patreon question from Jacob Sunday. He's wondering, how many pizzas will you eat within the time frame of filming the La Familia movie? So from start to premiere, we're talking.
That's a good
year
question.
And a half, probably. I don't know.
In a year and a half, I would say at least 280.
280 zaz. 280 pies. That's a lot.
maybe.
So we're talking a couple pods a week.
Yeah,
At
I mean, like if
few
I'm,
pods a week.
yeah, 280, 250,
Okay.
maybe somewhere in that range. Like I like, you know, when I'm home and I get to spend some time, like, you know, we eat pizza, you know, maybe 2 times a week or something. Or like even if my family's really fun to hang out. Like Rock always says that some of the funnest moments that he ever sees on my Instagram, it's around Christmas time when me and all my family get together. Because my dad, my mom, my uncles, they love to drink good. They love to drink some good wine. They have the hotel, so like they order extra cases of wine from their importers, and like, you know, they keep them at the house. Like somebody always has something, and we live like all attached to each other. So like in Italy, there's this thing that it's pretty common. It's called aperitivo, so it's a pre-dinner cocktail.
Aperitif and then digestif, right?
Yeah,
I didn't say 'em, right?
digestivo, yeah.
Before and after.
Aperitivo is exactly. So every time, like, since it's like 4 families that live in the same like neighborhood, basically in my house. So like the phone ring and be like, all right, should we do an aperitivo here and there? Or like, okay, the uncles are coming over, so my mom started cutting down like some salmon or something, like, you know, a couple snacks, and then my dad brings out 2 bottles. Then my uncle and aunt, they bring 2 bottles. Then my uncle and aunt, they bring a bottle of Prosecco and a bottle of Aperol. So then, like, you know what I mean? We're sitting there, we're having 1, 2, 3 drinks, and then everybody brings something to snack, and next thing you know, like, oh, whatever, we'll just eat here all together, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really...
It's a good time at the Piffarettis.
It's a good time at the Piffaretti. So we definitely... It's really cool that we always got some wine on deck.
Love it. Okay. I mean, we got a couple more rapid fire questions here before we wrap it up, but and then a couple of Patreon questions to get into. But this is kind of a general one, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. But what would you like to see more of in wakeboarding right now? You can go into this as far as you want, or it's kind of up to you where you want to go with it.
I mean, honestly, what I would like to see in wakeboarding, maybe a couple more projects with. I would like to see some big projects with some boat and cable riders and winch riders, like, you know what I mean? Just kind of a lot more of like, you know, let's get together, let's figure it out of like, you know, we have a bunch of really good riders and, you know, come up with, you know, a crew and more movies, like, obviously, because
a bigger thing, like,
you know what I mean? And I would love to see it from people and crews that they don't maybe even know each other that much, you know, but they have mutual respect. Because I think like one thing that I've always loved to do was to travel, go into other places and meet other riders. Like, traveling is what you want to do. Try to, like, you know, kill it at every single place where you go and try to, you know, make friends, make people and meet people. And I think like it'd be really cool if, you know, a bunch of riders that, you know, maybe even don't know each other that well or whatnot, like, you know, be like, hey, we could really we have a good solid squad and we could come out with a really good project movie, even if it's not the craziest one of all time, but it's like it gives something, like give the people and the riders more to watch. And if there's more cool movies and projects like that coming out, I think it's also gonna have all the riders and stuff like that check out like these things more often. You know what I mean? Instead of there's one movie and that's the only thing that you watch all year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you go on Thrasher, there's parts coming out every single day.
Yeah.
Right?
And we won't be there.
And we won't be there because obviously it takes time. Like, you know what I mean? It's like doing a movie and whatnot. Like, you always have like a time frame that you got to film it on. You always got like things going on. People get hurt. Like, you know, obviously that's something that you always got to keep in mind as well. But like, I think it will be really cool. And I think it would, like, a lot of people will be thrown off to see maybe like, I don't know, like,
throw some names out there.
Yeah, you know, I don't know, like Enzo Asaraf part with I don't know, like, you know, Sam riding in it, or like just, I don't know, like just.
Then you got some Jake Flynn street clips.
Oh yeah, or you got Jake Flynn, like Jake Flynn, and is another rider that I'm like super stoked on. Like, dude, that kid rips.
Yeah.
He's got good style, and you know, on top of that, like, you know, he ain't afraid of hitting a heavy ass winch spot. Like even that clip that he did on the at the street jam where he you know,
3 into the thing
into the wall. Like that's all cool things that like if you ain't a street rider, like you can't come up with. You know what I mean? Like if you don't, and like, dude, he's another rider that like really, really like, you know, I'm like, I thought he was good already, but like I've seen him like, you know, ride in that contest, and I was like, dude, he's full send. Like he doesn't care. Like, you know what I mean? It's awesome. It's good to see, man. It's
big resume too. He's got a lot of clips out there of shit like that.
Dude, for sure. And like, dude, that crazy rail that he had for what was it? Was
down,
it
flat down? Yeah. Nature Defense, I think.
Dude, that was what a spot. Like what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and honestly, like, dude, a clip like that, it's heavy. Like, dude, it's not easy. Like, a lot of stuff can go wrong. Like,
oh yeah,
and he just laced it.
Handled
super
it,
good.
dude. Absolutely.
Super
and
good.
stuff like that transcends.
Or like, yeah, you know what I mean? Or like, who knows? Like, you know, you can even do like, you know, Jake Flynn, Trent Gavin, and, you know, maybe Jamie User, you know what I mean? Or something like I don't know. Like,
bring it all together.
Bring it all together. And I think that's super cool because, like, you know, the more I've been, you know, getting also in the cable world and do contests in there as well, like, dude, I meet so many people and I'm like, dude, I wish all the boys from La Familia were here. Like, you know what I mean? And next year, like, we will be doing a lot more of that. Like, because, you know, it's so many good people and so many people that down to do things that, like, we got to, you know, unite a little bit both of the worlds because, you know what I mean? Like, even Hervé, like, you know what I mean? Right before we rode the final, right, for the unofficials, like, hey, don't let the boat guy win this, you know what I mean? Is the boat guy, you know what I mean? But it was just kind of fun, and you know, and on top of that, like, you know, the first round I ended up against Cam, and I was like, oh, here we go, the guy that won the best line, the first one that I pick up, you know what I mean? And obviously, unfortunately, like, he messed up a couple things, but it was really close, like, for me to go through. But you know what I mean? It was so
fun,
sick.
though.
It's so fun, dude. Like, I mean, like, Cam is like one of these people that I've been the most stoked on for the past, you know, 3-4 years, and I love that he rides bow, he rides cable, and obviously he's insane. Yeah, you know, and just to even, like, you know, it's obviously not like a competition. We're here, we get to shred together. Like, it's a whole different vibe, you know? And Jamie was out there, and it was super sick. You know, Dommy was out there, like, all the boys. And it was just even, you know, Rian Skits, like, he's skitsy. Like, I've never met him before. And, like, it's so cool that, like, you know, we clicked right away. It was awesome. Like, He did like this rail, and I don't know if he like landed on his ass, and like basically he tore his board shorts up, and his full butt crack was hanging out, and he was still ripping. You know, like, it's just, you know,
he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, it's so many cool and good people that, like, I think I would love to have him around a lot more. You know what I mean? Even in America, you know, like, just. I feel like back in the day, even with Expo and stuff like that, there was like more parties, more industry things where we would like get together a lot more. I think we need more of that stuff. And I think movies and premieres and things like that
gives
that
you
could
a reason
actually
and
change.
To come together.
Exactly. It gives you a reason to come together, have fun, and whoever knows, like maybe from the party of this premiere night, whatever, like, you know, this idea will come out and whatnot. Like, I still remember, like one of like my top moments in my whole life. I just have signed with Malibu, and it was All Sir premiere, and I was at this, you know, my first ever Malibu dinner, and then we're going to the premiere, and literally, like, I got to call an Uber for Randall Harris, like me, Randall, and somebody else, like, you know, we went and like we got in the same Uber. I've never met Randall like that close before, and like, you know, he's just was super cool the whole time. He's like, we're at dinner, you know, he's like, you know, he brings out his pen. He's like, "Yo, you want to hit?" You know what I mean? Just really cool moments that like, you know, this is one of the guys that I've looked up my whole life, and we're here, and like he's a scary looking dude, but he's sick, like super cool, super nice, you know. And I remember getting to the premiere, and it's like, dude, watching that movie, like the only thing I had in mind is like, I want to be part of a movie.
Yeah.
Like I want to be part of a movie, you know. And then like even when Prime came out, dude, like I was kind of bummed that I wasn't like kind of chosen to like film some of the boat stuff, just because that's what I was, you know, doing the most at that time. And but obviously you had crazy riders like Harley, Dowdy, you know, like Steele, everybody. But I was still bummed that I couldn't do the boat stuff. But then I was like, when Lake Ronix section came about, and it's like, well, there we go. At least I get to be in the movie.
Mix, yeah,
I get to be in the movie. But you know, even if it's not what I do the most or whatever, but it's still cool to get it known. And that opportunity was huge for me, just because, you know, like I was just being able to like ride out of the Lake Ronix, be out there with Brad and all these people, and that they're just so amazing. You know, Brad was doing so much. Like Brad is like, when I think of Lake Ronix, I think of Brad. Like that dude done so much for the sport, like at that time. And dude, like he was just so on it. He wanted to change things. He wanted to do new things. He's like, he was really motivated. And even him transition more to like the cable side of things, you know. Well, he started behind the boat and stuff like that, but it's, you know, Brad was another big inspiration for me. Yeah. Like he always like, just even on the building side of things, you know what I mean? Like, dude, I used to show up at the lake with my Passat stick shift, and Brad would come out of his freaking trailer, red board shorts, just puts a bunch of soap on him, jumps in the lake, like, you know, and then would get to building, you know?
That sounds like a great life.
Dude, it was like, dude, Brad was like very huge on me, like on pushing myself, just because I'm like, you know, I'm a boat rider like Brad. And if he's doing this much and he's putting that much time into like the cable, it's because there's something big happening here. So like I got to make sure to stay on top of this transition, and like, you know. And
why do you think more boat riders don't ride park?
I know for a fact that some people just don't want to be embarrassed, don't want to get embarrassed.
I mean, that's not. I'm not gonna put words in Ty's mouth, but he was like, "Dang, it's come so far since I'd started riding."
No,
it's like
but Ty,
not embarrassed, but I mean, like,
no. But like, dude, Ty takes it to a whole. Like, he takes it to a whole other. Like, dude, you rip on the cable. Like,
that's what I was thinking,
it's like,
dude.
bro, it's like
you're not bad at all.
You're not bad. Like, you're not bad at all, dude. And like, honestly, to think of that, whenever you signed with Ronix, that was the first time you freaking stepped in a 2.0.
Yeah.
And like
and all your winching, and was like your first time winching. It's
your
like
first time winching, and you got
talent,
mate. Like, you can't tell me that, you, like, you know what I mean. There's that, like, embarrassed, like, in other ways. Like, I've seen people that, like, you know, don't, but like, you know, I don't know why.
Because to me, and this is just me, like, I've ridden boat and I've ridden park, but like, and I love riding both. But if I were to just strictly ride boat, I would get bored that I wouldn't be hitting rails. I want to hit rails. It's fun.
Man, why do you think like I do both too? Because it's like sometimes I'm so over one that the only thing that gives me something back is the other.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's just like when I'm going back to Italy, I don't even touch my boat board. Like, I'm at the cable every other day. Like, or like, you know, something like when I got a ride boat, I'll come to the States and, you know, I got my boat, you know, gas is cheaper.
Yeah.
Whatever. I come out here, I do my thing, you know? But then if I'm like in Europe, I'll ride more rails. But like, you know, and if I finish like a whole season on the boat doing like competition passes over and over, like the last thing I want to do is, you know, go ride some boat. I'll just go ride some cable and just, you know, hit some rails, chill, you know.
All right. I mean, I was just wondering because I feel like you see boat riders who there's parks all around. I mean,
yeah, no.
Jump on. It's fun. Like,
that's
you don't
what
have to
I'm
be
saying.
embarrassed.
Like, no, not embarrassed. Like, maybe that's too much. But like, But like I could totally see like how somebody's like, it's not gonna help me, so it's or just being
I
like,
guess,
or it's that's I don't do that, like, or just I don't know. I've always been that whenever I can get whatever I can get myself into and strap it
Wherever
into
I can
my
get
board,
pulled, I'm gonna get pulled, yeah.
whatever. Like I don't even care. Like we did a Maldives project with Red Bull with Grub, where we were behind a jet ski, and there was some rollers coming in this super cool spot, and I was just from the jet ski, I was hitting these rollers, and I was doing like Mob 5s off of like a ocean roller.
Yeah,
like
sick, dude.
And it's just like I had so much fun.
Yeah,
like I don't know, like I'm always like he's whipping me into these things, and I'm like I'm thinking that I can't get any air, and next thing you know, I'm like going massive, and it's just super fun. Like
it's probably not taking it too seriously.
it's
either.
like no, for sure. It's
got a
just
jet
like
ski and a wave, dude.
and like listen, we're here in the Maldives. We got a jet ski. We got this, and let's try to come up with an idea to do some cool stuff.
Yeah,
with what we got. Instead of just being here, it's like, what? I got to ride behind this jet ski. Like, what can I do? It's like, I was like, Grub, just freaking whip me into it. Like, let's see what happens, And then it turned out to be like, whoa, it's super fun. And,
So what would you say is your boat park split right now? Or is it mainly like in America, riding a lot of boat, go back to Europe, riding a lot of boat?
I think it's maybe a 60-40 boat cable.
Pretty close though.
Yeah,
pretty
close. Like, cause I mean, even when I'm here, like, I try to go out to Lake Ronix, ride, get a bunch of stuff out there. Like, it's so fun.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's about 60-40. Like, obviously, this year was 60-40 more just because the season dragged on pretty long, and like, I just got back now, and I was just like, I rode a little bit of boat, but I didn't ride that much.
Okay. All right. Well, I say we wrap it up with a couple questions, and then we can hit some Patreon questions afterwards. So if you want to tune into these questions, make sure you join that Patreon because Massi had a ton. Obviously, like I alluded to earlier. What's the future look like for Massi? So short term and a little bit longer term. Short
term. Now I'm looking forward to go back home for Christmas. Chill, pull the plug a little bit, have a good time, spend some time with my family. You realize that that's the most important thing when you move away for a long time. Things are not forever. Trying to enjoy as much time as possible with my loved ones. And then future-wise, like, I don't know, like, man, I think something that makes me feel so special, it's that, like, in wakeboarding, we have people like Parks, Grub, Ruck, Chad, Murray, like Rusty, like, a lot of people moved away from the sport, like they did their thing.
Phil said
yeah. But we kind of always knew that. Phil always said it, like,
well, there's a lot of others too.
But anyways, I feel so blessed that like people like them are still in the sport, still super relevant. It just motivates me because, I, like, you know what I mean? I look up to them. I've always looked up to them, and they keep reinventing themselves to be, who they are. And if they had moved away from the sport probably wouldn't be as core or as, you know what I mean? Like,
there wouldn't be as much to it because you don't have these legends.
Exactly. There wouldn't be as much to it. And you know what I mean? Wakeboarding is probably the stuff that I know, like what I know the most about, right? And if I one day move away and whatnot and just kind of let the thing be, it's like, I don't know if I really want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel so blessed that I used to look at Parks Bonifay, and now Parks calls me to like go, hang out or go get lunch or to ride, or if there's something like, you know what I mean? It's just everything that these people taught me. It's priceless. When I started coming to the States, and Gunner sometimes used to give me shit, be like, oh, if Parks and Grub or whatever are not going out, you're not coming out with us, we're not good enough or whatever. Like that's like, it wasn't like how it was, but like I was hanging out with them 24/7. Like those are the people that like I learned my work ethic, and like, it's like they are a perfect example of what can I do to like keep company happy. You know what I mean? a lot of people and a lot of young groms are always like, oh, I'm better than this guy. I can ride better than this guy. I deserve to get paid, or you know what I mean? And I'm like, there's so much to it. It's not about how good you are in the water, is like whatever, is like what? Okay, so what? Think about it. They're going to let go one of their main riders, old legend, OG, that made so many things happen and come to life, to sign a kid that like does not know.
You don't have a name yet.
You don't have a name, or you don't even know how to make a shoot happen, or how, maybe even you got to tow the boat or do this that way here and there. Like there's so much to it. You know what I mean? It's not just, I remember too, because like, back in the day, you know what I mean? We would be like, dude, like, all these legends are still on the team, still doing so much. It's like, it's got to be our time to like shine, you know what I mean? Or our time to like get in. Are we going to even ever make it in? You know what I mean? And I always thought like, if they are doing it right, they're still involved with these brands, and they got 20 years relationship with brands and stuff like that. Like, that's got to tell you something. That's got to be like, I need to learn how they operate. I need to learn the insights of the brands and stuff like that, just so I can like have my saying, and not just like, I posted a double cabbie on Instagram. I got, 2,000 likes, that's good. It's like, that don't matter. Like, and I think like that's some of the most important things, to have like people that have made such a long career still be around in the sport, just to like prove the kids and the people that is like, if you do it right and you grind it, you could have a job, or you could be
There's
involved.
longevity to it. Yeah.
There's longevity to it. It gives you hope that it's like, you don't have to come in, do your thing, and get out.
Yeah, 100%. That's a good point. I think Shane's said a similar kind of story to that. But I say, before we wrap this up, is there anyone you want to thank? Anything else you want to touch on? I mean, we talked about a lot, which is good.
Yeah, we talked about a lot. I mean, obviously the first thanks goes to my family, my mom, my dad, my cousin, my uncle, aunts. They always, supported me, always been with me. Obviously, I got to thank Trevor Hansen, Scotty Kill, Mike Ferraro, Taryn Kobe. Like, without them, and without, like, I know how much of I was when I was a little kid, how high energy I am and stuff like that. And like, there was definitely not easy moments and stuff like that. Just being a kid, being super high, being wanting to do things and stuff like that. And, I got to thank him so much. I got to thank all my friends from La Familia. Like, those guys are exactly what they keep me young. I'm an old man now, man. I'm 28.
Geezer.
I'm 20. Yeah, I'm a geezer. I'm 20. I'm 28, and I'm the second oldest on tour. So like, the only thing that keeps
Who's older?
Shota.
Shota.
Me and Shota, the OG, the old boys.
Now, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's cool to be, the guys keep me young.
Yeah.
I always like, try to like, I give them shit sometimes, like, hey, you got to do this, or you got to stay on it, or whatever. But like, they're young, they got it, they're killing it. They are the guys that motivate me the most. It's like, and we're a good unity, because it's just like, you know what I mean? There's no, even though like, we're like kind of rivals when it comes to like the contest type of thing. Like, wakeboarding is really cool, because in wakeboarding you might find 8 of the best riders in the world riding together and pushing each other, right? Where in tennis, number 1 doesn't train with number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Like, they're trying to keep their shit secret so they can go in the game and,
Take him down.
Yeah. For us, it's like, yeah, everybody wants to do good. We all know that everybody, you know what I mean? You don't enter a competition to get last. You know what I mean? But like, we're there for each other. Like, we know that even if you didn't do good at this one, but somebody else did, is like, it might have been their time. But then stay true it, stay focused. Like, we go back, we work hard, we still all ride it together. And like, you know what I mean? that's the most important thing, supporting each other, and like, sometimes, you leave the contest where somebody got first and somebody didn't make the finals, and I know it's hard to be on the same stoke level because you're kind of like, disappointed and you did not do good, but I think we're all pretty good at like being super supportive. And I think this year there was one contest, and it was double or nothing, where at least like where none of the La Familia guys were on the podium. Every other contest, at least one of the guys from La Familia was on the podium. So like, it's good. Like, it just kind of rotates, you know what I mean? It can't be your turn every time. It's like the sport is going up to levels that it's like, dude, like the minimum freaking hand on the water could like totally like put you from first to second. Like, and then everybody's got the tricks right now to win a contest. And I'm like, dude, honestly, like, what fires me up, it's try to do weird shit and, bring it into the contest. Because if I'm a judge and I have to go out there and judge fucking 50 indie Moby Dicks, I got to judge 50 nose chromobes, and I got to 50 toe nines. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like if somebody goes in and does something that it throws you the fuck off, like what the hell was that? Like, or something like just simple that you haven't seen, it should be telling you something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, maybe it might be a little easier for him because he understands maybe that trick. But how many times have you seen this trick in this particular contest? Never.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so that for me, like that's my goal. Like every year, if I can do something a little different or bring a new trick into the contest, or like when it's January comes around, like just kind of, okay, what was my run last year? And like, okay, maybe I'm gonna switch up the batch of tricks and do them with a different grab, or maybe try to find a way to do something else. And like just kind of every year, like before the season, kind of relook at what like your arsenal of tricks, and then just kind of like, evolved. And I think that's something that like that's I always thought that was my spot in the sport, where I'm like, I got to do something different or bring something fresh.
Where's like the motivation for that to come from? Because you could do textbook runs like and passes like some riders do. Like Nick does like textbook down and back, like very dialed. Tricks are, the same from contest to contest for the most part, but like there obviously was a point where you start doing these unique things and they aren't necessarily getting rewarded by the judging because it's different, but it's still technical, but it's not exactly what the criteria maybe was that they were used to.
Yeah. So
like, where's the motivation to come from? Because it's not, you go, like you just said, you don't go to a contest to lose. You go to a contest to win.
But I also go to a contest that I want to win with my shit. It's like,
that's how you want to do it.
It's like, what? It's like, what, you go to the contest, and like Nick is a super talented rider. Corey's a super talented rider. Like, you know what I mean? They're insane. It's like their margin of messing up, it's so little from like how much they do their stuff over and over and over and over. Like it's incredible how they train. It's just the way to training, that training way don't fit me.
Yeah.
It just don't fit me, and on top of that, it's like I want to throw out that wow factor where it's like, if I can impress one judge and he's like, what the hell was that? Or like, just,
or the kids on the shoreline.
Give him something, like give him something new to look forward to. Like, cause I mean, I'm pretty sure that if you do something different, like all the time, like when the boat comes around and they see there's like a Sam Brown, a Tyler Hyam, or a Luca Kidd on the dock, or a Ulf Ditch or a Kai Ditch on the dock, like I feel like the judges get excited. They're like, oh, we gonna see something different.
Yeah.
We gonna, like, it's not the same static, you know what I mean? And then if Nick goes out, Nick does his perfect full run, then the judges are like, all right, now Corey's got to go in and, throw like, some hammers, like the toe 10, like, all the doubles and everything. Like, that's insane to do.
Yeah.
That is so insane to do. But like, that's just not me. Because I mean, that's just not me. I just want to win with my tricks. And I always said, like, you know, I used to remember back in the day when we were younger too, like, you know, people were doing Indy Moby Dicks, and then, you know, one guy wins with an Indy Moby Dick. Next thing you know, next contest, like, there's freaking 10 people doing Indy Moby Dicks. And I'm like, why don't we grab it nuclear? Why don't we grab it, like, you know, another grab? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, are we just gonna just copy what he's doing? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, you know, I mean, and on top of that, if I'm doing something different and something that I'm super stoked that I want to bring, I'm happy. Like, I don't care if I don't make it to the podium or whatnot. But,
I
like,
think everybody else is happy too that watches.
yeah, no, for sure. But, like, it's like, dude, I mean, I've taken bullets for a minute, so I don't.
That's what Ty was saying.
I've taken bullets for a minute now. I don't care. Like, it's like, you know, but, like, you know, I'm so proud of, like, Ty and all the guys on how well they are, like, riding. And, like, dude, Ty, it's just like steezy West Coast rider that absolutely, like, does the tricks to perfection, cuts like a maniac, goes humongous. And then, like, dude, it's just, like, turned in that like, his contest pass is probably one of the most effed up there is. Like, you know what I mean? And he's so driven to, like, be so perfect and precise that it's like, you know, sometimes I look at him, I'm like, bro, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you because, like, you are here winning events, like, you know, dealing with some of the craziest pressure of the overall, or if you don't win this, then you're going to end up third overall. Like, you know, just being able to deal with that much pressure the way he does, and, like, and the way, like, you know what I mean? But he wants to do the hardest stuff there is. Like, Ty doesn't go conservative. Like, you know, Sam doesn't go conservative at all. Like, you know, I've seen so many times where Sam could have, like, you know, even at Nationals this year, like, does a pretty solid run and just, like, you know, could have done a double cabbie off the dub, but he still went in and tried double mob. Like, he's going for it. Like, they don't care. They just want, like, and that's progression.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That it's just like, you know, like, it's pretty insane. While some other people, like, you know, obviously they gotta make their thing, and, you know, they're super smart, and that's amazing that they ride like that. They got, like, 3 different runs and stuff like that. But, you know, sometimes you gotta apply that to save some stuff for the finals, but sometimes you just gotta go balls to the wall.
I like balls to the wall.
I like balls to the wall too.
Yeah.
And I think, like, dude, sometimes, like, if I'm at an event and there's no people, like, pumping me up, and there's just, like, you know, parents watching, and just like the riders' parents watching or something like that, like, I don't get thrilled to go in there and, you know.
Well, how can you?
And, like, how can you, like, you know what I mean? Is, like, I'm a bit of a showman. I like, you know what I mean? I thrive when there's, like, you know, good vibes and, you know, and whatnot.
Wakefest energy.
Wakefest energy. And it's absolutely amazing, you know, but, like, dude, I'm just so proud and pumped about our crew and the guys. It's just like, Donnie puts in a ton of work. And he's obviously doing flight school. He's, you know, he's working. Like, he doesn't have much time. But, like, one of the main goals for all this is, like, you have no idea how much I wish that more company would hit up Donnie for just because of the work that we started doing together. And, like, you know what I mean? Like, bring him in. He's a, you know, it could be a private contractor, and, like, you know, that he's doing some cool stuff for wakeboarding. Is like, how can a company don't see that and, like, kind of help him out to get him involved to shoot some stuff and just on his own? And, you know what I mean? We want to, like, I see a huge potential for him as well. Like, you know what I mean? And we want to, like, if we can, we help him out, like, because it's like, we know how big of a glue and impact he's got on us. And, like, if without him, like,
None of those
we're nothing,
happen.
you know,
like,
without him. Yeah, no,
like,
exactly.
You know,
and then, like, you know, I'm proud of, like, the way that we started evolving. I'm proud of, like, the riding from everybody. You know, Luca made a humongous change this year too. Like, dude, he was a little bit all over the place before, like, and before a contest, he's a big showman, so he likes to be hyped up, getting everybody. And like this year, I totally saw him like taking some time off, like before he had the ride, like fully settle in, get in the zone a little bit. Like, I mean, you can't, like, you got to think of, like, you got to stick to a plan. You got to have something. You got to, you know what I mean? And then if somebody does better than you, you did better than me. It's out of my control.
Yeah.
But like, dude, just even this year, like Luca just super solid and, even like super steezy new tricks. And, he's
popping that back foot out too sometimes.
Yeah, popping the back foot out, like, you know what I mean? Double grabs,
Crazy,
back five, like, just super sick. All around, like, it's been super good to see. And like, dude, obviously, we talking triples here. We talking triples because the homie Thomas put it down. That was such a cool, insane, awesome moment for the sports. And then we had 2 people trying triple flips at the event. Like, dude, my buddy Kai, he was on that grind for months.
That's what I was hearing.
Like, I'm talking about this, like the just watching this kid come in and be like, I want to do it. I want to be the first. And then obviously Tom on the other side want to be the first. Like, they made an event perfect for this. Like, like, it's so sick to watch. And like, like, I was getting motivated by both of them because they're like, dude, these guys are going out there trying triples and I'm fucking sitting here sometimes like I don't want to do a double. And I'm like, and you know what I mean? It's like, it just kind of makes you realize, I'm like, better time start sanding. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? It's like,
help me put down the triple. It's
like, I mean, it's like, dude, I'm for a month watching Kai, like, getting toe into some of the gnarliest double ups ever. And like the motivation and the wanting to make an impact and the wanting to make a change for the sport, it was needed, right? It was needed, and I'm so stoked that it happened. You know what I mean? It's like insane. Like, big props to, like, hat off to both of those guys because, like, they were out there every day trying to push this sport to a whole new limit. And then it happened at, Red Bull Double or Nothing, a contest that was perfect for it, like, whatever, like, that is amazing. And I really, 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 really hope that, like, because of this, Thomas will have an absolute amazing career. Yeah. You know what I mean?
As
like,
he should, yeah. He's a good guy too,
like, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty wild, man. Like, it's crazy, And you gotta respect the sand. You gotta respect all the homies out there, like, doing stuff different. Like, I think the more we keep going like this, the more we're gonna influence the kids the right way, and I think we're gonna start seeing some crazy riders coming up.
I like it, love it, dude. Is there anybody else you want to thank before we dive into these Patreon questions? You kind of hit on.
Yeah. Just obviously, I don't want to forget nobody, but I just want to thank, from the bottom of my heart, all the people that, always have a nice word, believed in me or stayed with me or gave me a little bit of, motivation to go forward and stick to what I do. And thanks to everybody, obviously Parks, Grubb, Shane, Chad, Ruck, like, Paul, like Brian Thomas, like, there's so many people that have helped me throughout, like, my career, that it was just super amazing to see. And, like, I feel like we're all one big family, and we're here to do the same. I would love to help younger kids if they ever wanted, or, like, we're here. Like, don't feel like ashamed of writing a message asking for, like, help, or just like an opinion. Like, I think it's really cool that, like, somebody will come and ask you for an opinion, just because you can't always do it on your own. And if it wasn't for Parks, Grubb, Watson, all my friends and the people that supported me, like, I wouldn't be here.
Absolutely, dude. You listed a lot of names. I'm sure there's a lot, but that definitely covers it. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Join that Patreon. You guys can submit questions. Grabmatters.com if you want to check out more. See ya.